Hello and welcome to Still Got Legs, a Doctor Who Rewatch podcast brought to you by Another Happy Studios. This week, a good man goes to war, we get River Song lore, and a baby gets splashed on the floor.
You need to stop these rhymes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Still Got Legs, a Doctor Who Rewatch podcast, the only one that exists in the world. Please don't go look for any others, or seriously, I will cry my eyes out. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by my wonderful companion as we go on this adventure through time and space. His name is Lawrence Thomas Heisey. Hello.
Hello.
But I also have another companion this week. I've gone rogue, Lawrence. I've picked up a new stray.
Oh, no.
Yes. We're also joined this week by Catherine, returning guest. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Good to have you here. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Excited to talk about Doctor Who. Ready to get
As
into
always.
this.
Perfect. Glad to hear it.
Have we ever referred to ourselves as a TARDIS team?
Yeah, many times.
No, but like when Catherine is here.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Maybe not. I started calling you my companion at some point.
Yeah, but that's just a kind of a duo situation, isn't it? Whereas you know, three is a TARDIS team. So
yeah.
I think of myself as a Sarah Jane. I pop in. I'm having my own adventures off in the back.
She's rogue, okay? She can't be tied down to this podcast, okay?
Oh my gosh, you're out doing random adventures with like school kids and a dog in a cupboard.
Dog in a cupboard. All right, but yeah, today we're here to talk about A Good Man Goes to War. This is episode 81 of the revival era of Doctor Who, episode 81 of Still Got Legs. It is, of course, written by Stephen Moffat, the man himself, directed by Peter Hoare. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's Hoar, so I would say Hoare, but then also...
Hooah.
No, it's not Hooar, is it?
Hooah!
No, I'm going to go with Peter Hoare. Anyway... this is, you may have seen this episode. If you did watch it, you may have watched this episode and gone, wow, this feels like a series finale halfway through the season. And that's because it is. Because in 2011, they decided to split up the seasons for some reason. Maybe to appeal to an American audience, I don't know. But yeah, we have this mid-series finale. So here we are.
Is that the reason? Because of an American audience? Because that is an American thing, right? Like a mid-season break.
Well, it's one of the reasons, I imagine.
Okay.
I think it would also like buy them more time.
I guess it makes sense. I like it. It just means that there's a higher caliber episode slap bang in the center. Kind of revs up the engines for the latter half of the season. But I think this is great. I don't want to, whoa. A twinge from Nathan.
It was a controversial choice at the time. I remember
Okay.
not everyone was on board. I myself was, and it was purely for selfish reasons because I'm like, I only get 6 or 7 episodes of Doctor Who, and then it was like, wait 3 or 4 months or whatever, and then you get the rest.
They spread the breaks out though, isn't that like nicer? You get less Doctor Who more often is how it works, right?
But I want more Doctor Who.
More often.
Yeah, I want more Doctor Who all the time. Okay,
Fair enough. Sorry.
I remember like the end of this episode and then the hype going into because they end with the episode title for the next one. So I remember that being like a really tough wait at the time.
Yeah.
That killed me, by the way. All the seriousness of the ending of this episode is the Doctor will return in Let's Kill Hitler. It just absolutely killed me.
What a promise of a title as well.
Yeah.
What a promise. We'll see if it lives up to that next week. General thoughts up top. How are we feeling about this this mid-series finale here? A Good Man Goes to War.
I want to say I really like this episode. I feel like the reason I wanted to come on for this one is I feel like it really like typifies the Moffat era for me because it's so fun watching it. There's so much good stuff happening. It's like there's like so many mic drop lines consistently throughout the episode. Like the script is great, but then it's also like they do a thing with a character that I don't love. And I'm like, oh, classic Stephen Moffat, this great storyline. And then something that I'm like, oh, I wish that wasn't how it was handled.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can definitely see that. I see it much the same way. I think it's a great episode. It's a a really fun episode of Doctor Who, a really fun season finale, or mid-season finale. I think it really explores some new grounds for the Doctor in a very interesting way, and not necessarily something that has come up before, not this explicitly anyway, which I think it really does well to do. But yeah, there's just a few moments here and there where I'm like, ooh, they just make you feel a bit gross here and there. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into it, Lawrence.
It's look, it's. I think it's an incredible episode. Catherine's right. The I forgot how many. I've never written down so many quotes before in my notes because I'm like, oh my god, that's an amazing line, and then 5 seconds later, there's another one. And I think something I never, because again, I haven't seen this episode in quite some time. I've seen it more recently than I've seen other Series 6, but it's still been a couple of years at least. And they tapped back into the fairy tale season 5 magic for this, which I really loved. I thought it was like, because they're obviously telling a story about a family. It's I don't know. It just feels lighter. It feels more mystical, and Murray Gold got to do his like fairy tale song again, which I love the return of. But yeah, I'm all up in this. It's one of them things where like when you're watching it, you're like, oh my god, is this the best episode of Doctor Who ever? And then certain things happen, you go, it's not, but it could be.
It's up there. It's up there.
It is.
Is it a certified banger?
Well, that's up to you, mate.
That's your call.
Maybe I made a mistake here saying this is only my title to pass.
The onus is on you.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, maybe I'll decide at the end of the episode. Maybe that's how we'll see.
Okay.
We'll go through it. So, after a quick recap of how we got here, we open up on Demon's Run, which is a station built into a floating asteroid. Pretty cool design. So Amy has had her baby off screen. Melody, she's called. Amy tells her daughter that someone is coming to save her, someone who will never let them down. She describes this person as the last of his kind. He looks young, but he's lived for hundreds and hundreds of years. Amy promises Melody that she will never be alone because this man is your father. What? What a twist already. She cheated on Rory? She had the Doctor's baby?
How many times have they done this fucking shit?
You know,
Twice.
I don't really understand the point of it because it's not. Pretty quickly.
I know we all know it's Rory, okay? But I like it though. Okay?
But like watching it for the first time, you still know it's Rory. Like it doesn't. It's not for anything.
But it is because I think it's to say the Doctor and Rory are equals. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's to put them on an equal footing, okay? And to say, like, all this epic, cool stuff I'm describing, that's not the Doctor. That's actually Rory Williams, you know?
Oh, no.
Exactly.
He's ratioed us, Catherine. He's made notes. No.
No, but I think you could do that without being, like, particularly the last of his kind bit. Is Rory the last of his kind?
Yeah, that one's a stretch, okay?
Yeah.
In the sense that he was a centurion, I guess is what they're going for there, okay? I guess that's what they're saying. But
if you have to pause and think about it, then the line should have just been cut.
Look, I think it all works, okay?
Yeah.
It is a stretch, but you can technically make it work, okay?
Yeah.
Which, you know, whatever.
a century.
Well, yeah, it's a role.
Yeah, I suppose so. I like it in amongst this Amy's. It kind of comes in that, and she's obviously it's Rory, but you think she's talking about the Doctor, but it's Rory. And then there's this lovely kind of moment where she says like, I can't tell you everything's going to be fine, but you're going to need to be brave, but not as brave as these bitches. It really amps up the threat level of like who Amy's got coming for her, essentially. And I think that's really cool.
And I think it's just a really fucking cool introduction to the episode and just a really epic moment for Rory as well. Just like the way he walks into the Cybermen's little hideout or whatever, and he just simply says, I have a message and a question. Where is my wife?
Yeah.
And if that alone wasn't cool enough, then they're like, hey, I have a message from the Doctor and a question for me. And they're like, oh, what's this message from the Doctor then, cunt? And then he just doesn't say anything while everything blows up behind him. Yeah. And then it's just, do you want me to repeat the question? Oh, It's cool. That's cool.
And Rory's so often like the joke character in the show.
Yeah.
Like everyone's kind of like making fun of him all the time, like even Amy. So it's good that he has like, I don't know, a real like badass moment where he gets to scare the shit out of some Cybermen.
100%, yeah.
Rory's he's not one note by any stretch, but he is often pigeonholed into like you say, the kind of the comedic relief or like the weakling, but the bleeding heart of the group. And to see him literally like kind of snarl out the words, "Where is my wife?" I'm like, I think Arthur Darvill's an attractive man, but I never got it until today. And I was like, oh, there's something to you here.
You never got it?
No, I got it. Like I saw the appeal, but I saw a different side of him today.
So that's how the episode opens. Title sequence. On Demon's Run, there are two soldiers talking about the Doctor and how he blew up the whole Cyber Legion. One thing I noticed, I don't know if you noticed this, but they are walking like through like a hallway with lots of different soldiers and stuff. And in the background, there's like a hologram poster of a sonic screwdriver, the Doctor's sonic screwdriver. And it just says the words, where was it? I wrote it down. It says, remember, in big letters. And then 1, it's not Sonic. 2, it's not a screwdriver.
I've never noticed that. That's brilliant.
Yeah. I thought that was very fun.
Ties into the whole, like, this guy's not a pacifist. Like, he says he might be, but he's really not. Like, this thing could blow you up. This little thing he's got.
Yeah. The base is on yellow alert. They're getting prepared for the Doctor showing up, and have been for quite a while now.
I do like that they're just walking around being like, the Doctor's pretty sick, isn't he? Like, I know it's a theme of the episode, but it's really cool to see the legend of the Doctor explored. And, like, we can touch on that and kind of the implications of what it means to the Doctor himself. But, like, I just love that there is whispers and echoes of, like, why the fuck are we attempting this? Like, this is so not gonna work, right? Like, I really enjoy that kind of aspect.
I like how they take things that we saw of him being like a hero. Like they talk about the Prisoner Zero bit where he called them back for a scolding. You see it from like a different side of him being like a fearsome warrior. So I like how they even take like the stories we've seen and make it into like, from a different point of view. You see it completely differently.
It reframes it, right? Because like those are the moments that like we have a podcast to talk about how cool those moments are. But to like other people hearing that, it's like, that's terrifying. Who the fuck is able to do shit like that? That's scary. And if you don't see it, like Amy says a bit later on, like have you met him? Like he's the biggest goofball out there. But like if you don't see it and all you do is hear about it, you lose all attachment of that like whimsical guy that is doing all these things, and you just hear about the scary shit he's capable of.
Who is this insane god flying about the universe?
Yeah.
Just completely wrecking shit. Yeah. Insane. So there's these headless boys all walking around the place. They got big robes on. They're the headless monks. One of the guys we've been following questions why they're called the headless monks, wondering if they are actually headless or if it's just a metaphor. And then we get introduced to a young woman who answers saying they believe the domain of faith is the heart and the domain of doubt is the head. So basically they follow their hearts instead of their head, which is quite nice until you remember they are a maniacal cult working with a military force in order to kidnap a baby and turn her into a weapon to kill a madman. So yeah, that's pretty fun.
I was thinking like, because I haven't seen this in some time. I was like, oh yeah, the headless thing's a metaphor, right? Like it's, but then I was like, oh no, it's really because they've got a shape of a head under a hood.
Yeah.
But then no. Did you? I can't believe you just referred to them as two soldiers, Nathan. We're very explicitly told who these fine gentlemen are.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we are, and I was going to get into that because then that is my next note. When they
Okay.
Don't you dare try and think I'm skipping over this stuff, okay?
I couldn't believe it.
It took me an hour and a half to do my fucking notes. Do you think I'd miss this moment out? Okay?
That's fair.
Okay.
I shouldn't have doubted you. I'm sorry.
And so earlier when I was saying there's certain moments which make me go, here we go. Anyway. So the guy introduces himself as the thin one, and he says this is his husband, the fat one. First of all, okay.
Yeah. It doesn't matter either way. Not that fat. Like
he's really not that fat. He's like again, we've discussed this many times. It's Hollywood fat. It's like barely a little bit overweight, and that's
Yeah.
it. And that's enough to be like, what an absolute monster of a man, you know?
It's Chris Pratt in Parks and Rec, and they're like, look at this wreck of a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. But anyway, the thin one and the fat one. The young woman asks why they don't have names, and he says, we're the thin, fat, gay, married Anglican Marines. Why would we need names? I don't know, my guy. Because it's basic fucking human decency, okay? Fucking hell.
It's this weird idea of like, you walk into someone and go, how rare is our variety type of person here? We'll do away with these names. We don't need them. Let's just debase each other. As a married couple, let's just insult each other.
Sure. I guess, I think anyway, it's Stephen once again trying to speak about the church and religion and his own issues with it, which, you know, I can see, but still, it's
yeah, you know, it's, and I don't like to compare them, but it's different than like Russell T being like, oh, in the future everyone is like genderless and, you know, it's not so binary anymore.
Yeah.
It's I think that there's a certain point where like you can try and express through your writing your issues with like an institution, but there comes a point where you're just kind of like, you didn't need to put that there, did you? Like, I get addressing a point, and then there's also like hammering in a point that I don't think anyone was really making other than you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's an odd one. Yeah,
it's just though, why would we need names? I hate that line so much. Yeah, always seemed a bit off to me. Anyway, the fat one, because I guess that's what I have to fucking call him, goes off with the monks because it's time for his conversion or some shit. They don't really explain this, but was he about to become a monk? Is that what was going on? I guess.
I think so, yeah.
They said at one point, like, every time the monks join with someone, there's a certain number of people that agree to convert to the religion.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, like I can't remember quite exactly how they said it, but
that's cult commentary. And it's fine.
Yeah.
Go somewhere, spread the word of God aggressively if needs be.
Okay. So Lorna reveals that she had an encounter with the Doctor when she was younger. He said run. He said it a lot. She says she's from the Gamma Forest, and she says about 30 seconds of the Doctor was the only thing that ever happened there. Pretty boring place, much like possibly a little village with a duck pond. I wonder if that's thematically important in any way. You know, interesting. So the headless monks, they also kill the fat one. Rip, I guess they chop off his head. Or do they kill him though? Well, they behead
make him
him.
a monk.
Yeah, I guess they behead him. But does that mean he's dead? Logically speaking, yes, it should. But
I don't think he's him anymore.
Yeah, he's a weird monk boy.
He's just like one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
my idea is they just become like a number in this faction rather than an individual with like thoughts and feelings and stuff. I do like the little guillotine transition, the cut. Yeah. Was that what you were going to say?
Yeah. It's good.
It's a great transition.
It's good. It's a good little transition. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Where are we off to next, Nathan?
So we're off to London, 1888. We see a hooded figure stepping out of the carriage and into her home. She says Jack the Ripper has claimed his last victim. Clearly some kind of Sherlock Holmes detective type. But the reveal is they're actually a Silurian. Our sexy lizard queen is back.
King.
And she ate Jack the Ripper, so good for her. So that's pretty fun.
Is this as close to a street urchin that we've had in a while?
No, we had Toby not too long ago.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
and maybe we'll have Toby again later. But yeah. Also, there's no street. Jenny is not a street urchin.
No, I know she's not, but it's that vibe of like, I've got to put the kettle on for you, my lady.
No, she's not a street. She's not on the street selling papers like extra, read all about it, sure. Well, what day is it? Boy doesn't even ask that. That makes no sense. But no, Jenny's living the life of luxury. Not really, because she's a maid, but like, you know.
Yeah, but is she like?
Well,
I feel like there's appearances. Yeah.
Her character evolves over time, but
okay, all right.
Yeah, for now she's more just like the a bit of a mate. But then again, she does go to Demon's Run as well. So yeah,
I am excited to get into all of this because again, like I've said this so many times, this is the part of the show where I get hazy. Just for new listeners, if anyone's new here, but like getting into all of this stuff, these are the characters that I know are regulars, but I don't really know anything about them. So like, there's certain people that show up in this, and I'm like, right, I got to real pay attention here because I'm going to be following you for a while, I think. Yeah, I really like them. I like their vibe. I like just a Silurian and her kind of like maid wife, which is great.
It's honestly not as long as you'd think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they're like they don't have that many appearances. I think it boils down to about 3 or 4, maybe 5 at the most. But
oh, really?
Yeah, it's not a huge amount. It's spread out over a bit of time, but it's not necessarily a huge amount of appearances.
Are they like episode mainstays, or do they like come and go in and out of episodes?
They'll be like episodes, which is like, and now we're with the Paternoster gang. You know?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but
what do you make of their vibe, Catherine?
I really like that we're introduced to them, like with them already knowing the Doctor and them already having. It feels like fun to be dropped in like the middle of an adventure with them. And I like that she killed Jack the Ripper.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's the save the cat writing trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you immediately walk in and go, "I've done the coolest thing ever." You go, "Well, I guess you're the coolest person ever."
Fine, sold.
So the TARDIS is there, waiting in the drawing room. Vastra says a very old debt is about to be repaid. So yeah, that's interesting.
The TARDIS feels ominous in this, right? Like
does,
a couple of these like little laps and around places.
It's really
The
glowing.
Doctor, yeah, it is, and because the Doctor's not in the episode as of yet. Like, I mean, I think we see his hand in one shot earlier, but he's not. Matt Smith doesn't really appear in the episode for some time, so it's this. It really builds on this legend idea that is just so fucking cool. I think.
Was that his hand?
Yeah, because he's in the cyber thing, isn't he? He's setting up little bombs for Rory. I got the impression it was his hand because Rory doesn't have the Sonic. He's just there to be like, check out this fucking explosion.
But imagine this: he could give him the Sonic.
Yeah, but then, but like he says, like a message from the Doctor, and the Doctor's tinkering with stuff in the shadows. Rory's just walking around killing people.
I think that's Rory.
I think you're wrong, Catherine. What do you think?
I love when I just settle arguments. I thought it was the Doctor, but I don't know.
There you go. I am going to the tape.
Oh no, the tape.
It's only a hand. It's a man's hand.
I'll see if the fucking like the shirt is visible, then we'll see.
No, but he might be in disguise. That's not fair.
Why would he be in disguise for a scene we don't see? Okay.
Catherine, is this your first experience of us pulling up the tape live on air?
This is my first. Let's go to the tape.
It's Rory. 100. I need to screen share this and show you my reasoning. Okay.
Fuck you now,
dude. I need to screen share this. Lawrence, make me the host so I can screen share.
Can any?
Wait. Roman cloak.
Thank you. I know. I think you're right.
Roman cloak.
Catherine, no.
No, because I think when he ran past, he was wearing the Centurion outfit. No.
Yeah.
I think
Roman
Nathan's
cloak.
clutching his straws.
Look at it. Also, the hand is purposefully cut off, so you don't see any shirt collar, any wrist collar cuff thing. You can see the Roman cloak as well. See Roman cloak.
When he ran across them.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Roman cloak.
All right.
Boom. I will take my apology now. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you.
Yeah, sorry, Nathan.
That's okay. I win.
But right, he'll have cut this down exponentially, but that was 5 minutes, by the way, in the making.
We had to be sure. If my good name,
I think you had to be sure.
If my good name is being dragged through the mud,
okay, we didn't call you a liar. We just said, I don't think that's what happened.
I knew I was correct. Okay. I needed to be sure.
Look, in his defense, he was right. So there's that. Look, fine. Where else are we off to next? We're not in London anymore. We're going somewhere else, Nathan.
No, we're going all across the galaxy, the universe, somewhere in space. There's a war being fought, and a little boy was injured. Maybe this is the closest we get to a street urchin, really.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you mean, when you say a war, Nathan, I think you mean the Battle of Zaruthstra.
Well done. Good pronunciation, I think.
Thank you.
I think you nailed that, personally. So well
It's
done.
not a word. You tell me how it's pronounced.
I'd imagine just exactly as you said it there. So well done.
Thank you.
Very good job. So yeah, there's a little boy who's been injured. They ask for a nurse, and who should show up but a Sontaran? Strax is here. We love Strax. He tells the boy he'll be fine, and that one day they will meet on the battlefield, and he'll destroy him for the glory of the Sontaran Empire. It's pretty fun.
Strax isn't the 10th Commander Battlefleet Commander guy, is he? Of season 4.
No, he's not. Here, the same actor is used for the Sontarans because they're a clone race.
Yeah.
But no, he's not the same guy. No.
He's a clone of the guy that was General Stahl's mate, I think.
Sure, yes. But no,
Go to the tape.
They're all clones. They're all supposed to be the same.
No, I know, but I think he's cool. He's not the angry one. He's the slightly more silly looking one.
Yeah,
I like him here.
He's a fun guy.
I like that there's like French Revolution vibes.
Yeah.
In the war for no reason at all.
No, I like this. I like it. It's you don't know. It's like futuristic, but then it's also a bit like it's a bit steampunky. Really, you don't really know when it's supposed to be, but yeah, it's fun. I like it.
It is indeed. But yeah, Sontarans. Catherine, what's your thinking on a nurse Sontaran?
I fucking love Strax. Like, I think he's like a side character they use like the exact right amount. Like, he always has great lines. I'm so happy to see just a little angry potato like once on screen.
And clearly they didn't know what they had with Strax, considering how this episode ends. so yeah.
Yeah. I've seen him, so I presume his death doesn't stay dead.
No, he doesn't. No.
Yeah. Spoilers.
He'll come back. So Strax leaves the medical tent and he mentions how serving as a nurse is punishment for a Sontaran to help the weak and the sick, which it's implied the Doctor set that up and enforce that rule because the TARDIS arrives and then he says, perhaps my penance is over. So that's pretty fun. That's a fun bit of lore just dropping there.
It's just all these scenes are just so hype building. Like, you're just like, game on every single time. You're like, let's go. I remember loads of people always say that they found the introduction of Strax and Vastra really confusing and they didn't know who they were. I remember like people always say that and I don't really know why, because I feel like there is enough context clues so you can kind of just accept it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the sense I'm coming at this because now I know them.
It's
really.
hard, yeah. It's hard now you do know them to go back and think.
Yeah. I guess, Lawrence, you're a good window into this. Like, is it
what's
difficult?
supposed to be confusing?
Because we don't know them. They're new characters.
Oh.
And they're like, I have this history with the Doctor.
Yeah, but so does like Lorna, so does a million other characters that we've never seen. Like, the amount of times the Doctor per episode is like, that was way back when I was doing fuck knows what with fucking whoever. Like, we get told about a million things that happen off screen, especially in this era. Like, this is so non-linear in terms of, like, Amy and Rory's time in the TARDIS. But, like, yeah, no, I don't find that confusing at all. It's just clearly people that the Doctor has seen across, like, close to what are we up to now? 1,000-something years?
No, over 900.
Over 9. Oh, yes.
900 and 907. Or 909, I think you last said. Or 11. 911. I don't know.
It's confusing.
Somewhere around that range.
Yeah. So yeah, River, Nathan, Catherine, River is back. I'm barking.
Let's before we go into River, let's take a quick break whilst we listen to some capitalism. Okay, we're back from the capitalism. River.
Oh.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. I don't know if I like that.
No, it's cool, man. Like, Alex Kingston brings a joy to every single scene she's in. Even the scenes where she's kind of a bit more, like, there's a more morbid vibe to it, which there is in this after some time. But, like, I love that every time we touch in on her in this prison, like, we just get a little bit of an extra nugget of like how her time is there. Like, turn it off. I'm breaking in, not out. And I'll have my dinner. I'll have my breakfast at this time. Thanks. Like, It's brilliant. And she starts like having a little jive to herself. She's like just come back from a date with the doctor, so she's obviously a bit kind of loved up. It's really nice. I think it's brilliant.
She tells Rory that she I think she says the doctor took her out for her birthday, and they went to the Frost Fairs in London, the last of the Great Frost Fairs in 1814, and Stevie Wonder played on the River Thames under the London Bridge, but you must never tell him. Okay? Which is quite fucking hilarious.
Have you ever seen... Sorry, there's a genuine conspiracy theory out there that Stevie Wonder isn't blind, and that people genuinely believe this. It's so bizarre.
That's wild.
And he spent his entire life faking.
What? Why? What does he gain from that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Only the internet could like go, I have an opinion on your disability as it goes.
An
to be
insane
honest.
take.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I quite am certain on the validity of this. Like, that's ridiculous. I want to see the scene of the Doctor kind of ushering Stevie Wonder into the TARDIS, and Stevie Wonder's like, "What's that noise?" He's like, "Don't worry about that."
I will say this moment does get revisited. Later
Does
on.
it?
Yeah, but
Does
you don't see Stevie Wonder, unfortunately.
Cowards.
Yeah, cowards.
I like the glimpse into, because our like view of the Doctor and River's relationship has always been from the Doctor's side, like as he slowly meets her. I like getting a glimpse in from River, and it seems like really fun, and they're just like off having adventures and a great time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I crack the code? Is there a little clue here when the Doctor took River out for her birthday, given this episode? Is there anything there?
I mean, time travel, so not really.
Well, I thought that, but then like there's nothing to indicate it's in a different time or like a different day. I think there's a little clue.
No, but also Melody was born like a month, but Amy had been at Demon's Run for a month, they said at one point.
Fuck, Catherine's made
Sorry.
notes.
and also, why would she then be imprisoned the same time she's been born?
All right, I was wrong. All right, fine. I thought it was a cute observation.
He was trying to have fun.
I know.
I'm going to stop trying. I'm just going to go back to barking over River if you want.
That is what I want. Yes.
That's all I'm good for.
Yes. All right. So yeah, Rory comes to ask River for help. River says she can't go with him because this is the day the Doctor finds out who she is. She describes it as the Doctor's darkest hour, saying he'll rise higher than ever before and then fall so much further. Pretty interesting.
This is, like, given what this episode is and, like, it's centering around a child, was this, I genuinely cannot remember my reaction. Was this obvious? Like, was this an obvious twist?
I will say, for me, it was purely because it was spoiled beforehand. Okay. And I remember being very angry about it. I remember going on YouTube and watching the trailer, the next time trailer for the episode over and over again, because that's all I did as a fucking dumb, however old I was, probably 18 or something. Yeah. That's kind of sad.
Nathan, come out to the pub. I can't.
No, I'm watching the Doctor Who next time trailer. So I remember watching the trailer on YouTube and then looking at the comments, huge fucking mistake, and seeing just people flat out saying, "Oh, Melody Pond equals River Song. River Song is Amy and Rory's daughter." And then I was like, "Fuck, no!"
Oh, but they're just like positing their theories, but you.
No, I think it had leaked somehow. I think it had leaked. Yeah. So then I remember when I watched the episode, and then when Amy calls her daughter Melody, I was like, "Fuck." No, and then when the reveal happened, I was like, I just feel sad because it was spoiled.
Oh,
so, yeah.
What about you, Catherine? Do you remember having a reaction to this?
I think I was surprised. I think I hadn't twigged. Which now looking back, it feels pretty obvious. But I think it was just fun watching it. You were just like, yeah, we're gonna watch Doctor Who. Like, I don't know. I don't think I kind of twigged until it was really spelled out for me at the end.
Hindsight's 2020, isn't it? Like, once you know, it's very easy to go, I should have known the whole time. But yeah,
I don't think it's hugely obvious. I remember when I read the spoiler, I was like, that was a shock to me. I didn't like, that wasn't something I thought about before.
No, I don't think it's obvious but why would they say this is the day he finds out who I am? In the episode, the baby's born unless the two things are so I think from then you maybe could and also like she was, there's like little things where you watch it back, it makes sense. Like she was really flirty until like she realized it was Rory, and then she immediately stopped flirting with him.
Yeah, she was a lot more like affectionate with Rory and like loving with Rory. Really, it was like suddenly I remember noticing the moods changed dramatically once she noticed it was Rory. She was like, "Oh, that's my dad," you know.
I guess there was an element of like people kind of being red herringed out a little bit because River's been shown to have such a sexual chemistry with the Doctor, and like I guess people watching it were like they would never, and they did, but they would never do that.
No, they would.
they would and did. Yeah,
they would and they did.
So yeah, this that scene kind of happens. Dorian, the big blue man, is back.
Yeah. He's being questioned by Kavarian and the Colonel about the Doctor. They say it's been a month since like he found out and turned Amy into a puddle of cum or whatever. But he's done nothing since then.
We're gonna have to be careful with that, by the way, today in this episode.
Yeah, I know.
I thought that.
Yeah, I went to write a note. I went, I can't read that out.
There's some things you shouldn't say on mic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there's two words which should not go together, and
no,
we'll see. So Dorian explains that there's quite a few people over the galaxy who owe that man a debt, and they've probably found a blue box waiting for them on their doorstep.
Surprisingly accurate. That's what's happening.
That is exactly what's happening. It's almost as if he's watching Doctor Who with us.
He's like us.
He's just like us.
Next week, Dorian's guesting on the podcast.
No, Lawrence, he gets beheaded.
Well, yeah, but they won't. Yeah, no, he won't be able to talk. It's just his body, so no one will know if we're telling the truth or not. Dorian is a guest.
We can just get his head on. He comes back as a head.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, I've seen him in a little box.
Yeah, he's in a box. Yeah,
brilliant stuff.
So blah blah blah. Fucking, we're all over the place here.
They drop the origins of the name Demon's Run because Dorian says like, I know where your base is, and he says, Demon's Run, and they're like, that's just a story, that's a myth. Shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. And they say demons run when a good man goes to war. And in full context, that line is hard as fuck.
That's the title of the episode. That's what the episode's called.
They're watching Doctor Who.
Wow! They're just like me. Fun.
It's fun, mate. Stephen Moffat's on God mode with these lines. Incredible writing from this.
He is good at these, like, very cool, like, one-off lines here and there.
Yeah. As if this title could get cooler. Like, it's impossible, but no, he managed it. That crazy man did it.
Sure. Where the fuck am I? So the Doctor comes for Dorian too, in a scene which I think is very funny. Just the way we don't see the Doctor, but we do see his shadow. And I don't know who they got to do that shadow, okay? But it was not Matt Smith. They tried to make it seem like a Matt Smith, and they really pronounced the fuck out of his chin, okay? But that is definitely not Matt Smith.
It was so solid with the TARDIS. Like you say, it's glowing more. Even in this setting, it's in the dark. It feels like, that dramatic 10 hero shot in the fires of Pompeii when he comes back for the family?
Yeah.
And the TARDIS is glowing and it's kind of like ash is raining down. It looks that epic. And then a big shadow of a man that isn't Matt Smith appears and you're like, what's this?
Yeah.
You didn't need this. It looked really cool without this.
It is quite strange. I think it would have been fine with, like, you could have just seen, like, the sleeve of the jacket and the hands coming out and just saying him, come with me or something.
Yeah.
But, the whole shadow is a bit, I don't know.
Dorian's just like me for real, though. He's like, I'd be useless. You don't need me.
I'm too old. I'm fat. I'm blue. As if that's relevant. As if the fact that he's blue has anything to do with it. Oh, very fun. So Lorna, the young woman from earlier, the young woman of the piece, comes to see Amy, gives her a little stitching, a little cross stitch, a little embroidery. Yeah. Which is her daughter's name in the language of her people, which is quite sweet. But then Amy just says, "Can I borrow your gun?" Because I have a feeling you're going to keep on talking, which is brutal. But also, she is imprisoned there by them, so fair enough.
Yeah. And her baby's been taken from her,
Yeah.
and this woman was there when it happened and didn't try to stop it. Like, I love this scene. This is such a good scene, and how they again, it's a testament to Stephen Moffat's writing, where he's able to join two people thematically and emotionally in what, got to be less than a minute, this scene, or maybe just over. But what do you make of this scene, Catherine?
I think it's really good. Karen Gillan's really has not got loads to do this episode, but she's really great with what she has, and I kind of love the instant connection between the two of them, and how Amy, this woman is literally part of the force that has imprisoned Amy and done all these horrible things to her, but she still finds a way to understand her, and they have a genuine moment of connection between the two of them, which is I couldn't do. I'd be like, fuck off, go away. We're not going to chit chat. Yeah.
I think it's really good how they managed to relate the two characters, because Lorna tells her that she did meet the Doctor when she was younger. He told her to run, and then Amy says, "Oh, she also met the Doctor when she was younger," and that's how they connect. Amy said the Doctor came back for her, but he never did for Lorna. Essentially, they're the same person. It's just that the Doctor never came back for Lorna like he did for Amy, which is really interesting. I really love how that gets played about here, and how that how Lorna isn't bitter about that or anything. She's just good for you. That's really nice and stuff. Which I like.
It's almost like Amy got the life she didn't get, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is
or
maybe not great for where Amy is right now, but
no.
If it was reversed, Amy could be her. Amy kind of understands then why she would go join a war, because she also was so affected by the Doctor dropping in and out of her life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that makes way more sense than what I said.
Lawrence, shut up. So the Colonel is giving a bit of a big old bloody speech. He's saying the Doctor is not that scary, blah, 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 blah. He lowers the HUDs of these headless monks, and they look fucking weird. They've just got weird, I don't know, their necks are just tied into weird little knots or something.
You know when you scrunch up a bottle of Coke or fizzy drink? It's like that.
Wait, what? What?
You know, the neck of a bottle, and you scrunch it up before you throw it in the recycling. It looks like that.
No, I just throw it in the recycling.
You're not maximising space, man. Your bins. So much missed potential.
I live alone, okay?
I have to maximise my space. I've got 2-week intervals. Too much recycling, Nathan.
Okay, great.
Too much fizzy pop being drank.
Yeah. I had to move on to cans. It's easier. less space.
You got yourself a can crusher?
No, I haven't. Should I get one?
Well, yeah. If you're trying to maximise space, you need to get yourself a can crusher.
I've got my foot. That does a job.
Well, if you can crush it. But are you using it?
Well, sometimes, and it's also not 100% success rate.
Okay, well, then
sometimes
you need
it'll
to
ping off into a wall, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Well, then you need to get yourself a can crusher then, don't you?
I'll get on that. Sorry.
Okay.
Right, now life admin is out of the way. Back to some Doctor Who. It's a great design, I think. Do you not think they look cool?
No, I think they look weird. Well, yeah, but just weird mostly.
I think they look cool with the hoods up. There's something I think almost quite goofy when it's down. It's fun for the reveal of the Doctor's hair, but I don't know. This whole bit where they're doing the speech, it feels really Star Warsy.
It does,
proper.
Yeah.
And then they have a few lightsabery things at one point.
Yeah, they do also have
yeah,
swords that glow red and stuff as well. Yeah.
It's very it kind of Imperial officer speech to the troopers kind of thing.
Yeah.
This guy's from Misfits. Does anyone know that? He's a probation worker in Misfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen Misfits, but
it's many, many moons ago. That's a show that was very strange and then rapidly declined in quality.
So quickly.
yeah, almost immediately. Between one season, yeah.
Didn't they change the cast? Isn't that why?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they had the guy from the Umbrella Academy left, and then it got real bad.
Fun fact: I met him on a train. I thought to myself, I'm gonna kind of build up the courage to go and say hello, and I fucked it so bad.
My how my brother, who I live with, he saw Chichi Gatwa on the tube the other week. I was so annoyed I wasn't with him.
Oh, that
Not that I would
so
have,
cool.
not that I would have said anything, but I would have just, given a little nod.
You would have felt that presence in your vicinity and gone, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't give him a nod, a knowing nod. I've seen Doctor Who.
We've been on a podcast.
I find it wild that celebrities can still ride the tube. Really,
Yeah.
because this must be a nightmare, really.
Well, people say that you get used to it. Like, if you live in London, you see a lot of people. But we lived in London for 3 years, and I didn't see, really any famous people. And if I did, I wouldn't have got used to it that quickly.
Saw Vin Diesel.
Did
We
you?
did see, yeah, but we went to a
Yeah.
premiere where Vin
Yeah.
Diesel was. We didn't
No.
encounter him.
We didn't go to a premiere. We accidentally turned up to a premiere. Okay, where Vin Diesel was there and
Nina
your
Dobrev.
mate, your mate, Nina Dobrev. Yeah,
Huge.
I think. Yeah, it was triple. I think there's a picture of our friend Beth getting a picture with Nina Dobrev, and you can just see me and Lawrence in the background. Like,
Yeah.
hello.
And Donnie, and I was like, at this point, I'd seen the Vampire Diaries maybe once a couple of years back, and I was like, famous person, cool.
Yeah.
And Donnie Yen were in the background of one
Donnie
of them
Yen
photos,
as well.
so-
Yeah,
yeah,
that was quite cool.
that was fun. Anyway,
Yeah,
we know famous people.
yeah.
So much to talk about this episode. Let's get on. So the Doctor shows up. Murray Gold just starts fucking dropping fire immediately. Incredible moment of this little silly reveal, and he's got his. I don't know if they made his quiff extra quiffy, but it feels like there's some hair going on here, more so than normal, I think.
I think there's always hair going on, but I don't think he's somehow had more hair put on.
No, but they can style it in a way that's more bouffant, can't they? And more kind of. He whips his head back, and it's like that kind of like a L'Oreal advert. He looks great.
Okay, yeah. I think it's just because he whipped his hair back, and you're
I mean,
just
maybe,
seeing it in a different way, and you're like, "Whoa, is this new hair?" Hey, everyone, new hair just dropped. Check it out. Yeah, so he pulls down his hood. It's a big epic moment. He says 3 minutes 40 seconds before yelling for Amelia to get her coat. And then the lights go off. First of all, I always like it when he says Amelia. That means shit is serious. Okay, I love that. Second of all, the fact that he's timed this whole thing down to the second is very fun as well. But he does get it wrong, so fail.
Epic fail.
Epic fail. Yeah. So the soldiers kill a monk accidentally.
Yes, yeah, shit's. The Doctor does kind of instigate this chaos, which is a fun moment. And
Yeah.
what do they say? They say we took Demon's Run without a drop of blood spilled. I'm like, I'm not sure that's true.
Lawrence, shut the fuck up. Don't jump on that moment just yet. Okay.
Okay, all right, fine.
I'm gonna have to cut that out now. Okay.
You don't like it when I'm ahead, do you, Nathan? You
No.
don't like it?
No. I mean for later.
No, I know.
He picked up your subtle signs.
Fine, I'll say it, Lawrence. It's my weirdo of the week moment. Okay.
Are you happy?
God, are you happy?
You only did that so you don't have to
Are
cut
you
it.
happy
I
that
know
I've been
you.
exposed like this? Ah,
Sorry, everyone. Sorry.
how dare you embarrass me like this? This is outrageous. Anyway, Lawrence. Yeah, so a monk is killed, but it's fine because no blood is spilled or whatever. And then there's well, I don't know how many die, but there's a bit of a fight between the soldiers and the monks after that.
There's just a bit of trigger-happy chaos amongst
Yeah,
them, really.
the
'Cause
monks
Doctor
shoot,
switches
weird.
off the lights and disappears into the crowd, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So the soldier thinks one of the monks is the doctor. He's like, oh, it's this one. It's definitely this one. Literally no reason he can tell.
Waits
that
for no
sure.
proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just-
And then just shoots the monk. And then they start firing weird red balls out of their hand. I don't know what's going on there, but
yeah.
A little
Yeah.
force lightning.
yeah. Well, it's not. It's no, but the force lightning is on their swords though. But then they shoot out weird little red balls, which is, I guess it acts the same as force lightning, but yeah, I don't know what's going on.
A religious blast. I don't know what it does.
A religious
people.
blast.
Well, they're little monks, aren't they?
I don't like the sound of that at all. Anyway,
Oh, the lizard lady. What's her name?
Vastra, Lawrence.
Vastra. My
Show her
apologies.
some respect, Madame Vastra.
I'm new to her game. I apologise.
Okay, great. Yes,
She-
but her and Jenny have taken over the control room.
And she's
tied
like,
up
that
two
doctor's
guards.
pretty
Pretty handsome.
something going on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny fuming.
Jenny has to remind her that he's a man and you're a lesbian. So...
Oh, damn it. That's a classic Muffatism when the lesbians get so turned on by the male lead. Classic.
Curses, I forgot I was a lesbian for a second.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, you don't know why you're with me, cue her showing off her giant tongue.
Yeah, that's a bit of fun. And just the look they share afterwards, like, oh yeah, that's why I'm with you. Your giant lizard tongue.
It's a reason, isn't it?
It's horny. It's horny. Maybe it's too horny for Doctor Who, but tell you what,
it's subtle enough to get past it. Like, I didn't pick this up as a kid, and neither did you. As
I was
18-year-old child.
I was a fully grown man. I was like, I know what that means.
Nathan was pointing at the TV going, sex.
Lesbian.
That's prematurely barking, Nathan was.
Oh, God.
So I do like this. They start to gain, like, the... I'm going to call him Colonel Misfit until we can use his real name.
I just called him the Colonel.
Ah, okay. That's clever, but I was doing a riff, so please go with it.
Okay. And your riff is your... I mean, I say this like it's a bad thing. Not that like I don't do it all the time, but your riff is that you're just calling him, calling him by the TV show he appeared in.
Yes.
Okay. Good riff.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The respect it deserves.
I do it all the time with Fleabag.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he starts to regain like control. Quite effective, to be fair. Just starts spewing off a mantra of "We are not fools." And he does start to reclaim stuff. It's all in vain, obviously, because the facility has already been taken. But for a second, he might have a chance until a million other lizards spawn in.
Yeah, all the Silurians show up.
The Jadoon.
Yes, the Jadoon are here as well.
Every costume was out of the BBC storage. Whatever they had, they were
Which one have we still got? We got these ones. That's about it, really. We already used the Cybermen earlier, so we can't use those.
We've left these ones in the Cardiff Museum.
Yeah, so we got the Jadoon, we got the Silurians, and then Strax is there as well, kind of like leading the army. Even Danny Boy is back. I cheered when Danny Boy arrived. They're like, Danny Boy to the Doctor, Danny Boy to the Doctor. And they blow up the communications array, which is... It's good fun. It's good to have Danny Boy back. What a kid.
Now that we know he's in a good episode and we've grown up and we can appreciate it, it's good to reclaim Danny Boy's legacy like this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we reclaimed... And we always liked Danny Boy, though.
I don't know. I thought Danny Boy added to the dumb as well a bit.
Yeah, we specifically said in that episode it's fun.
It's what, and it can't be dumb and fun at the same time. This is Doctor Who. Of course it can be both.
That's fair. That is fair.
Danny Boy's there. He's not the only one that's returning, but we'll get there. What else is happening?
I'm just trying to work out what you mean by that.
Well, I'll cut this, but the pirates are back.
They're not the
boring
next
pirates.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no. That's literally the very next sequence. Which
I suppose so, yeah.
when you said we'll get there, I was like, oh, what is this? Interesting.
I've got secret notes.
It turns out we'll get there now.
Okay. Technically, I wasn't wrong. We did get there.
Yes, technically you are correct in that we will get there, and we have immediately.
Here we are.
There. So Kavarian is and also, what do you mean I'll cut this out?
No, you can cut this out.
No, but you said I'll cut this out. You can if you want.
No, thank you.
Okay. Be careful with that language then.
Okay, sorry.
Kavarian is trying to escape with a baby, but Rory confronts her. He pulls out the sword on her. She tells him she has a crew of 20 waiting for her on the ship. But yeah, the door's open and then the boring pirates are here. So yay, everybody.
We've captured one of them.
we captured this one man. We're going home now. Goodbye.
I'm about to send my son to look for the other 19, but we got this one guy, Rory.
Yeah.
What do you make of this?
Yeah, it's very clearly just one shot they would have filmed when they shot their episode, and then that was it. That's all we'll need. But whatever, it's fine. Gets the job done, I guess.
Yeah, it works. Why not?
Are you happy to see the boring pirates again, Catherine?
Well, I mean, like, I had a bit of egg on my face because at the start of the episode, I was like, oh, it would be nice to see. I wrote a note like, oh, it would be good to see some of the people from the series. But you know what? They're fucking here. So I was wrong.
Yeah. It would be good. We could have got sexy Canton back. He could have shown up with his gun.
Yeah.
And just shot a whole bunch of them.
President Nixon.
President Nixon's back.
With his little music.
Yeah, he'll just record you and then blackmail you later or something.
There's a part of it that does feel like the last time we saw the Doctor call this many allies, it was the Stolen Earth and Journey's End. It does feel like the Doctor rolls out the B team a bit, doesn't it? Like, who are the series regulars that people enjoy?
Journey's End had 4 full years, okay?
It's true, that's
This
fair,
is a year and a half, okay? So, be fair.
Get the boring pirates in. Get them in.
Shut up, you. Anyway, yeah, so the Doctor, he meets with Colonel Manson is his name.
Okay. Yeah.
And he says, sorry, Colonel Manson, I lied. 3 minutes, 42 seconds, he says. So, hack, terrible, awful. Anyway, Colonel Runaway, pretty great.
Oh,
Matt Smith is so fucking good. Like, he is insane in this show. I love the manic and the menace he has when he does this speech, how he seems like he's getting enjoyment from like terrorizing this guy. Like, it's not like he's just doing a punishment, he's actively enjoying it. It's so good.
It's incredible to watch. Like, obviously the acting in Doctor Who a lot of the time is like, especially from Matt Smith and the companions and stuff, it's very good. But when you see the camera this close to him and he's kind of firing on all cylinders, and then the scene really helps with the atmosphere. Like, you've got the lizard lady whose name I've already forgotten again.
Vastra.
Vastra, thank you. It's a lot of names in this episode, all right? I got to make room for the boring pirates.
You don't have to admit. What are their names? What are their names?
Captain Paddington.
Okay, yeah.
He's done it again.
Can you tell me the boy's name at least?
My incredible riffs return.
Can you tell me the boy's name?
Yeah, I'll do it later.
Okay.
No, but like, they really set the scene really well. Like, when Matt Smith proper gets up in the Colonel's face, she like hisses, and it's this moment of very much like, oh, shit's about to fucking pop off. Like, she thinks he's about to swing for him properly, and it's like, it's well performed, not just by Matt Smith, but by everyone around that like builds that tense feeling. It's so good.
I do love the way he gets so into it, and it's like it starts off almost a little light-hearted at first, like, haha, Colonel Runaway. I want to call you Colonel Runaway, but then he gets so into it, he pulls himself up off his chair and goes right up into his face to tell him that he wants children to laugh at him and call him Colonel Runaway and all this like really unnecessary and horrible stuff, but just because like he's stolen and hurt his friend, that like, yeah, he's gonna get personal, he's gonna do all this shit, which I really enjoy. And then the moment, of course, where he's like, oh, look at that, I'm angry, I don't know what's going to happen next. And you can see him visibly shaking with rage as well. It's incredible. He's so good. He's so good, man.
It's both somehow under the surface and so apparent at the same time. Like, Matt Smith has that incredible ability to just do two faces completely, like, interchangeably at the same time. It's brilliant.
Are you watching House of the Dragon, Catherine?
I've not seen this series. I've not started it yet.
You've not seen this series. Okay.
I'm excited too. I've read the books and I know there's like a big thing that happens this season. So
interesting.
No, I think so. I think it's already happened. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen the Blood and Cheese? They do that this season.
Oh yes.
Words. Let's stop.
Yes.
Don't worry.
You've seen that. You've seen that. That's what.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Matt Smith showing up in episodes.
Yeah. There you go.
We found the unofficial trilogy, or duology, I guess. Yeah, so he obviously he drops the hardest speech of all time, right? Are we calling this on par with the Stonehenge speech, or surpassing it?
I think they're different beasts. I think the Stonehenge speech is a big victory royale moment. You know, it's a big fucking look at me, look how cool I am. Yeah. This is a lot more personal. It's not. I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a speech, really. I'll just say it's just incredible dialogue.
It's
really
more of a threat that just gets away from him. Yeah.
And I think you're not meant to like you're obviously meant to be on his side, but you are meant to be like, oh, he has gone far with this. Whereas like the Stonehenge speech, you're meant to be like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Get him.
Exactly.
That's the Doctor, and this one's, oh, fuck, that's the Doctor.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh-oh.
It's like, that's the Doctor, and that's the Doctor? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone starts... before that. So obviously that speech happens, incredible. And then, like, it gets interrupted by Kavarian, who starts saying, you know, like, you're not going to do any of this. You're supposedly, purportedly, like, a good man. Good men, you know, have too many rules. And then Stephen Moffat just casually drops another hardest line of all time. Like, consistently upping himself in the same episode. Yeah. Just saying, good men don't need rules, and today's not the day to find out why I have so many. Writing.
Yeah.
Great.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So many layers.
I also see it in GIF form every time I open our Discord server.
Yes.
It's the top of the rules page, so that's fun.
Just starting off, you know, we'll enforce these, all right?
Sure.
Don't be a prick. Amy arms herself with a little tool because there's some banging at the door. Someone's trying to get into her little space, which is, I'm almost certain, the same spaceship that she was trapped on with Rory in A Christmas Carol.
You do this a lot. You just see one color and go, "This is the exact same."
It
set.
feels like it's got like the little balcony
It's
bit.
white. It's just a big white room, and you're like, "These are obviously the same."
Oh yes, and Doctor Who wouldn't dare use the same set ever, would they?
Shall
How
I
foolish
go
of
to
me.
Shall I go to the tape?
No. Catherine's got a life outside of this show.
No, don't let me
I'll do
stand
it.
in the way of your
Catherine,
bickering.
stop.
I'll pull up both. Okay.
Who's at the door, Nathan?
It's Rory, Romulus himself, the Roman. I've lost my fucking notes. I do this all the time. No, okay, yeah. So sweet Amy and Rory reunion. I love how Rory just immediately starts crying. And just was like, he thought he was going to be cool. He promised himself it'd be cool, but he can't, and he just immediately breaks down. It's all very sweet. I like the Doctor joining them and like him like, oh, backing out, I'll give them a moment, but then Rory saying, no, fucking come join us. You're part of this family too. It's all very sweet. I like it a lot.
I do too. I like that Rory's been this kind of cool, sturdy action hero the whole episode. You know, like they show him in the shadows with River. They show him blowing up a cyber legion and all of this stuff, right? And being very threatening and serious. And then he sees his wife and his baby, and he just goes like, "Oh shit!" Just immediately becomes recognizable as the Rory we know.
Yeah,
which is lovely. What do you make of that?
I found it really emotional. I feel like one of my complaints with this episode is they don't really give enough emotional weight to some like really horrific things. But I think this, does a little bit towards it. Like I feel like Amy's relief at seeing them and like her genuine like happiness, like, oh, this might actually all be okay now. You just feel it while you watch it. And I love any time. I don't know, there's something about like, I think because guys don't cry a lot like on TV, there's something about a guy just being like overcome with emotion and happiness and crying and seeing Rory do that is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about this whole like crying thing. I used to be so fucking like never cried at anything. Like never. I could watch fucking The Notebook, okay, and not have a thing. Now I watch like the simplest episode of Doctor Who, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so emotional. And it's like just a normal scene. I don't know what happened to me over like the last so many years, but I will cry at anything now. And honestly, it's embarrassing. I hate it.
So many times I end up watching these episodes next to my wife, who enjoys Doctor Who, but is also on the vein of like, sometimes she's enjoying the new season. She's kind of like got more into it, but like she sees some of the older stuff, and it's a lot to like re-catch up with all of that stuff. So sometimes she just sees stuff at a surface level in a vacuum and is very like, this is the silliest show of all time. And then she looks over at me and she goes, why are you crying? And I'm like, because it's beautiful. You don't get it.
It is. It's very sweet. I love the moment where Amy says like she says something to the effect of like, I knew you were coming, both of you, and then just sweetly calls them her boys. She says my boys.
Yeah,
I love that. I love it whenever she calls them her boys. It's so sweet.
I like it now that they stop trying to do the forced, is this a combative situation kind of thing between Rory and the Doctor. I'm okay now that that's over.
Yeah.
with Amy calling
Would
them my
now
boys.
Rory and the Doctor have a relationship and a really strong friendship? So it's always different when that's the case. Like he feels secure because he knows the Doctor and he knows like he is not interested and she is not interested.
Yeah.
So I like that there's a brief moment where they kind of disagree about the surname of Melody, the baby.
Melody Williams is a geography teacher. Melody Pond is a superhero.
Not wrong.
No, not wrong.
Accurate vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. Quite harsh on Rory, but yeah, it is the superior name of the two. So
I really like that there's obviously I don't think people are supposed to know this because obviously the reveal hasn't happened. But we've spoken a lot of times about, River throwing the fez in the air, River shooting the Stetson off the Doctor. And even as a baby, the bow tie is being criticised. River has impeccable drip sense and knows that the Doctor is not dripped out, is all I'm saying.
First of all, how dare you? Okay. First of all, the Doctor is dripped out, okay? And she is wrong. She's a dumb baby. What does she know? Okay.
Don't come for Nathan's wardrobe in 2011.
Exactly. This was my look, Lawrence. Okay.
But in the main kind of area where the episode takes place, in like the main kind of hall bit, they've had to take Melody out of the TARDIS. Another little fun thing about the noise. Melody doesn't like the noise. And we know that's true because River knows how to fly the TARDIS properly and does it without the stupid noise. I know it's silly and I know I'm poking holes, but there are lots of little silly bits like this.
I think you're reaching with that one.
I don't think I'm reaching. The baby doesn't like the noise of the TARDIS.
I think that's because she's a baby and it's a big loud noise.
No, you're wrong.
Okay.
I have evidence to speak to the fact.
Okay. I think you're reaching. I don't think that crossed Stephen Moffat's mind once, but sure.
You don't know.
Okay.
You don't know it.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I don't. The Doctor speaks baby, which is quite fun.
I like this, particularly for like the 11th. I like the different Doctors having like slightly weird different skills. And I think for like the 11th Doctor, who is like always like is really protective of kids, I like that he can speak baby.
Yeah. Not just baby. You can speak pretty much anything. So we see him speak to a horse at one point as well, which is quite fun. So yeah,
I do like Matt Smith is instantly believable. Like he's able to throw the silliest line away and make it feel like this is just every day for him. And he goes like, when Melody's crying, and he goes, "They're just not listening, are they?"
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, he pulls out a big old cot for her, a big wooden or a little wooden cot, I guess.
Not before the Sontaran wants to do some breast.
Oh yes. What is it? What does his Strax says? He says like, "I can produce magnificent quantities of lactic fluid." That was just a great line.
You didn't need to put that in, Stephen Moffat, but I love it.
No, he did. It was imperative, I think.
Oh god. Anyway, sorry. Yes, the Doctor brings out a cot.
Yes, an old wooden cot. Amy notices how old the cot is and asks the Doctor if he has children. Slowly, he says no, and then she asks if he ever had children, and he doesn't answer. He just kind of moves on to something different. And this just like I love this moment in the episode, but then it just made me sad for. And I won't get too much into this, but a moment we had recently in Doctor Who, which kind of would negate this in a sense.
Oh yeah,
if you know what I'm talking about.
From. Yeah.
I don't know if it has to, but yeah. I know what you mean.
I hated that line when I heard that.
Okay.
I was like, don't like that at all. But
tune in 2 years' time.
Tune in 2 years to find out. But no, I do really like that moment. Just always a good moment when the Doctor gets to be cagey about his past and stuff, and not really dive into all that trauma there.
He's not quite 10 with the non-verbal. He does at least change the subject.
He does. Well, he does give an answer. He does say the cot is mine. Whether or not that's true, I mean that could be true. Two things can be true. It could be his, but it could also have been his child's, whoever that child was. So.
Indeed.
So yeah, there we go.
So we get a bit of come Amy lore.
Okay.
In that The Doctor says that her heart, mind, and soul was on the TARDIS, but her body physically wasn't.
Yeah.
Where do we land on that? It's kind of like a weird... I feel like it's a bit of a hand-wavy thing. It kind of... I feel like there's an element of like it kind of... It's a quick writing trick to be like, don't worry about that, that's fine.
It feels just like Avatar, no? Like your mind's there, but your body's somewhere else.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah.
I feel like we established that last week already, though. Really, I would say we already established that with the two-parter.
What
that whole episode was about? These are actually people.
No, but like Amy's specific, like. Oh yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, is that new information to us? Really?
No, it's not necessarily new information, but it feels very like so people don't question. Like it felt like them saying it was always Amy.
Oh yeah.
But there were two Amys, if that makes sense, given what we know from last week and the week before.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like a bit of a hand-wavy thing of being like, you weren't physically there, but your heart and soul was. And it feels like the Doctor doesn't say this, but it feels like there's an implication that like those were merged when we came to get you, when I dissolved you, you were kind of put back together as one piece rather than two living things.
This lends into my idea that the come is more advanced in this time period than it has been in previous time periods, you know?
Yeah.
In the sense that like it's him dissolving Amy is not just the same as like Jen or one of the other gang has just been dissolved, you know? It's different. So.
All right. And we'll stick to that.
So I win.
Yeah, Nathan wins again.
Do you have any thoughts on that stuff, Catherine, about him dissolving Amy into a big pile of cum?
No, I think you are right. I also feel like it is different because it's been a while since I watched those episodes, but like something different happened to that goo to make them like be more alive. Like there was a storm or something.
That's
so
true.
like Amy's ganger wasn't alive in the same way, but it's pretty bad to have. It just doesn't. And I think that makes sense, but when you're writing an episode and the moral of the story is all these people, and then but not that one, it does kind of undercut it.
It does a bit, yeah.
But I don't think the Doctor was like a murderer in that moment.
No, it's just very apparent that the plot needs to move on. And it's very Monster of the Week. Let's forget what happened last week. Those morals are now not important. It's these morals that matter now. But yeah. So
Vastra asks the Doctor if Melody is human.
I love this.
It turns out that she is human, but she has human plus DNA, specifically human plus Time Lord. And then we're like, oh, so it is the Doctor's baby. Once again, we're back down this road. Yes. But
why won't the Doctor just admit this? What has he done?
No, it's not. Here we get some great Matt Smith being uncomfortable by sex acting, which is... Oh, sorry, the 11th Doctor being uncomfortable by sex acting.
Yeah, Matt Smith's very comfortable.
I've seen House of the Dragon. He's very comfortable with sex. Yeah. But yeah, again, just towing that line between the most sexless Doctor and the most sexual all at once. So
it's a tightrope. It just depends on which way he falls.
I do like it when like Vastra is asking him like, when did the baby? She can't even say the word conceive around him. She has to say like begin because that's better somehow. And he's like. And he straightens his bow tie as well before he gets into it.
I love that he's like, "There's no way they've had sex on the TARDIS while it was in flight. That can't have happened."
Yeah. 2 episodes ago, they asked him if they could not have a bunk bed and have just a regular bed. Come on, man. Okay.
So would they would have had the bunk bed at point of conception?
Yeah.
It's a big TARDIS.
I'm pretty sure we discussed
there are options, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. I'm just thinking it's just an interesting peek behind the curtain, isn't it? That we know these 2 facts.
Yeah. It is funny the moment it like dawns on him that the first night they was on the TARDIS was technically their wedding night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the way he slowly just like goes on a bit of a word vomit spew and then just slowly weaves it out and goes, "Oh fuck yeah, shit."
Yeah. So the idea here is that basically because Melody was conceived on board the TARDIS whilst it was in flight, that has exposed Melody or the egg or the cum or whatever to to the time stream or the time vortex or something, which has then enhanced her DNA, affected it in some way, And this is why Amy was concerned that, you know, the baby would have a time head or something. And then even this gets brought up and Vestra says only you would ignore the instincts of a mother, which fair enough. Yeah, he did.
Did we know this Time Lord lore? The Time Lords were essentially created over billions of years of prolonged exposure to the untempered schism. Is that lore we knew?
When it comes to Time Lord lore, don't get used to it. All right?
Yes.
Because it's ever changing, you know?
I'm so happy to accept like whatever they tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they
same.
change it. It's fine. I don't mind. Like I'm so okay with it.
Whatever they say, just be like, yeah, sure. That's fine. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, true. If you get too wrapped up in it, that's how you become these nerds yelling on the internet. That wasn't the case 1 month ago.
Not like these nerds that have a Doctor Who podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
We're the cool ones, actually. We don't get upset about pedantic things like whether or not that was Rory who opened this. Who used the sonic screwdriver at the beginning. We're cool.
See, I've been set up to fail here.
I was more against myself than anything.
Okay, fine. So in and amongst all of this, Kavarian rings up. Just rings to have a little dig at the Doctor. Like, ring the bass. I'm gonna make fun of this nerd.
I guess that communications array is back working.
Yeah, I guess so.
Are you happy that Oregon's doing more things other than just popping up?
She's not. I mean, she's not doing much.
She's not doing a
though, is
lot,
she?
right? I don't know.
She's just walking around looking menacingly, and then she's just on a fucking Zoom call at the end. You know,
Yeah.
She does have some good like lines and stuff, but yeah, she in terms of like villain presence, there's not much to her really.
Do we see much more of her?
We'll see
really
her
don't
again.
Remember.
We'll see her
Okay.
again. Yeah,
Yeah, because it feels like she didn't get a comeuppance. Obviously, she will, but like,
she'll get a comeuppance, trust me.
okay,
But we'll touch back in with her. Yeah,
of course. I do like this kind of. There's a real kind of prolonged shot on Matt Smith's face once he kind of hears that this army, like, why would you kidnap a child, you know, for hope in the endless war against you, essentially. And she kind of spews off that his legacy is that of, like the episode's kind of been alluding to, like a great warrior and almost like a warmonger, essentially. And just the way that kind of the 11th Doctor sits down and the camera just slowly pans in on him. His eyes
he can't. Well, yeah. So, he asks the question, "Why would a Time Lord be a weapon?" And then Vastra says to him, "Well, they've seen you, mate." And he cannot believe that. He's like, "Me?" And he just kind of seemed to think that why would he be a weapon? He's the Doctor, you know. He's a good fun man.
Even though they put him in the Pandorica last season.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's a good point.
This is news to me.
But no, he does. He can't quite accept it. He's a bit heartbroken by it. He sits down, and while this is going on, it's interesting that Rory and Amy and the others down in like the main hall bit are having a conversation with Lorna. Is it Lorna? The girl from the Gamma Forest, who mentions she joined up with this force, this Marine Church, whatever the fuck it is, to meet a great warrior. And then they're like, he's not a warrior, he's just the Doctor. And then she's like, then why is he called the Doctor? Because that's what the warrior means in my language. So like, yeah, it's interesting.
It is very, very cool.
So Kavarian's on the call as well. She tells the Doctor that the child is hope in this endless bitter war. And he's like, what war? And she just says the war against you, which is pretty brutal. I don't know what beef they have. I don't know if it ever gets mentioned, but like there's some beef going on. Really?
Yeah, because the Pandorica threat was very much just like, we're a bunch of people that are sick of like the threat that you pose. And it felt more layered in their personal histories and beefs. But then with the overarching thing of like, we've heard that you blow up the universe one day, so we're going to throw you in here and that benefits us. But like, this feels very much kind of, we don't know. Like, cause,
I think it could be related from what I remember, but
Really?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
But the stuff that he does, like, he doesn't just go around blowing everyone up for a laugh. Like, the stuff he does is justified, but I guess a lot of villains think they're the hero of the piece as well, so there's that.
And also, like, it might be them playing with time. Like, we don't know. She says she's already in a war with the Doctor. Maybe, like, it's in his future or something. Like, you don't quite really know at this point. He's just learning about it for the first time.
The Kavarian timeline is kind of all over the place because we do see it at many different points throughout time, like, and over River's life as well. So, yeah, it is quite confusing.
Because I feel obviously it's not the focus here, but I feel like that is the least fleshed out part of the episode. It feels quite weak that they have to get the villain out of there quickly because they're dangling a whole bunch of other themes and threads and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it's serviceable. It does what the episode needs it to do.
Yeah.
I love that the eye patch woman, I've wrote it down in my notes, I'm just reading it, because the Kavarian does have a great line about fooling the Doctor twice in the same way is just like...
Oh, that's a bit ahead, mate.
Is it?
Yeah, that's massively ahead. Yeah.
Oh, yes, they cut back in between the fight.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a whole battle that goes on first. The monks are getting ready to attack the rest of the gang. Rory finds a quiet place for Amy and Melody to hide while he goes off to fight. I find that quite cute. Just the little place he finds where Amy says, "No offense to the others, but let them all die first." Yeah. Classic Amy.
I think that's beautiful. If I'm honest, I just think that's a lovely moment. Like, it's husband and wife banter, which is nice.
And what does he say? Doesn't he say you're so Scottish?
Yeah.
Sure, I guess. I mean, a Scottish person wrote this, so I guess they would know. So
that's true. Yeah. Are they known for being like sacrificial?
I don't know. Maybe I should. I'm half Scottish, but I don't know.
And is there any instinct within you that would throw me and Catherine under a bus before yourself?
Certainly you. In a heartbeat, okay? I wouldn't hesitate if it came down to it.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair enough, yeah.
Dorian gets himself beheaded, 1L.
That's a very, like, I wrote a dorky beheading sound down.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I haven't heard the word dorky in ages. That's brilliant. I will reserve my thoughts on Dorian for later. And
great.
We will now move swiftly on.
There we go. Another one has been revealed, it seems.
2 down.
1 to go.
Will we get the trilogy? Who knows?
Okay, so the fighting begins back in the control room. The Doctor is speaking with Kavarian. He angrily tells her the child is not a weapon, to which she replies it will. The child will be. Then Lawrence, if you want to get into this.
Yes. It's just a cool line. I just I like
what
the
is
concept.
the line?
Sorry?
And what is the line? Because I probably cut it out earlier.
I've paraphrased it. I haven't got the exact quote down, but it's something to the effect of like fooling the Doctor once is a bit of fun, but fooling him twice is like a privilege or something. And in the same way,
fooling him once was joy, but twice in the same way was a privilege.
Yeah,
quote.
And it's. I see you had it. You set me up to fail. I see. I see you, Nathan.
I didn't set you up to fail. I didn't know you didn't have it. Okay.
I just think it's an interesting aspect of the episode that's very much like it builds on this hubris. Like, we don't know. We sort of know the Doctor. We had 4 seasons of watching him become a bit of an egotistical maniac, or 3 seasons more so. But now this Doctor, it's not his first brush with having this ego to him, but there is this level of building his hubris to the point of like, it's plain as day. Like, you look for the most convoluted explanation in everything, but really we just pulled a fucking switcheroo on you, and you're too dumb to see it because you're worried about everything else. And I just think, like, if you're going to trick the Doctor, the simple approach is the best one, and they knew that, and it's effective. And I think although this villain is not very well established at this point, it's still... This is one of the reasons why it serves as an effective villain, even though they don't really have much of a presence, which I think is cool.
Definitely, yeah. So the Doctor quickly realizes what she means by that, and then rushes off to find Amy. This is where we get like a bit of a montage of the battle going on, which I think looks quite bad, because I feel like it wasn't necessarily choreographed in any way. It was just a lot of like, and now fight. So you just get Alpha Davo just going like, just like not really doing much, but whatever.
They give them all a prop and a prompt and say off you go.
Just go fight the things that are there, you know.
I think slow-mo and a bit of hazy camera movement does wonders for this scene.
Yeah.
I think if you were to stabilize this camera and put it on a tripod, it would look horrendous.
But yeah, so whilst this little montage is going on, we get a voiceover from River reading out some poetry all about a good man going to war. I don't have the poetry here, but I'm sure it's poignant and meaningful. So there we go. But yeah, the Doctor's trying to get to Amy as fast as possible. And then this is like the real meat of it. We see Melody.
What are you going to say?
Goo.
What I won't say is what's written in my notes, okay? What I will say is Melody is a flesh avatar and she dissolves into the substance. Okay. All right, let's all have a laugh at that, okay? But what I think is of note here is just the horrifying scream that comes from Amy at that point. The way she calls for Rory in that moment, and just thinking about how traumatic that moment must be for her, it's fucking brutal, and I think Karen just really kills it in that moment.
I think everything with Karen and Arthur after this point, from this point on in the episode, is flawless. Like,
yeah,
they are pitch perfect performances from this point. I mean, pretty much always, but like especially this point onwards, I think.
Yeah, it was Arthur's like when the Doctor comes running in, like, oh, it's not real, it's not the baby's not real, and it's his like really sad, we know, like the anger, like those two words. He shows like the anger, the heartbreak, everything, just in that one tiny moment.
Yeah,
I think that's a brilliant character moment for Rory, because in and amongst all of that, like he says the devastating, yeah, we know, and then you've got, is it Strax? The song, sorry. Strax is like bleeding out, dying. And he just like, he's like, we know, shit's fucked. Anyway, I'm a nurse. I gotta help someone. And he like just preoccupies himself by just doing what he's always done, which is like, just helping someone and trying to find some good in a very, very shitty scenario. And then they I'm already sad from the Rory line, and then Strax hits you with the I'm almost 12, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
You're a little clone boy.
Poor Strax. He'll be fine though, don't worry. He gets revived.
He had no memory that he died. Like, that went past me completely.
Yeah. It's fine. He's fine. What do you make of Strax's final line to Rory? Because like I think Rory says something like, "You were a great warrior" or something, and then Strax just goes, "No, I'm not a warrior. I'm a nurse," and then just dies. And that's like, I think it's saying something, but I can't work out what. I
think maybe there should have been a scene between the two of them before it to kind of reinforce it. But quite often they write it so the companions like find connections like across space and time with all kinds of people. Like Rose in particular was always talking to like various like working class women across the universe. So I think it was trying to do something similar, like a connection between the two of them, and like Strax being like, I'm a nurse, there's like glory in that, rather than just like the Sontar way. I don't think it completely landed because they had no interaction before, really.
Yeah. See, because I didn't take it as Strax saying there's glory in that. I took it as the other way.
Really?
I'm saying it's something to be ashamed of. So that's why I'm like,
I'm just a shitty nurse.
Yeah, exactly. But saying that to Rory, who is a nurse. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if that quite lands necessarily.
Rory goes, fuck you, mate. Pushes on his wound. Die.
Well, he doesn't like, Rory isn't like, well, I mean, he wouldn't be anyway, but he doesn't look over the moon after that conversation, you know?
Yeah. I also thought I understand that Strax was dying. I did think it was bizarre that Rory wasn't sat with Amy in that moment.
Yeah, probably should be. Yeah. But then again, like there is the sense that like at least a tiny bit of time has passed since like the flesh, since Melody dissolved into the flesh and the Doctor getting there, because they're like,
bunch of monks are dead on the floor. Yeah. I like that. I like the Strax line. I don't think it's quite delivered like with enough impact and oomph. I think it is saying something to the effect of like, dying because he says the death isn't as honorable or as nice as he expected it, or as glorious, I guess. And there's definitely an element of like dying dying for nothing is pointless, and dying in a glorious war, it's just you're sacrificing yourself for absolutely nothing. But there's no real glory, but there is something to be proud of in dying for something that matters and protecting someone in being a nurse. But yeah, I don't think it's quite there.
I also think like it's not really like, given they undo it, it's not needed for the story, and also given that the next scene of a character is much more effective. I don't know what Strax is really adding to it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They didn't know, to be fair, but yeah. That's we can't blame this episode for that, but yeah.
And I'm glad they brought Strax back. Like, I like Strax.
Yeah. I love Strax. He's great. Dan Starkey does an amazing job as Strax. He's hilarious. But yeah, good bit of fun. The moment I really love where the Doctor kind of like sheepishly tells Amy he's sorry, and then steps towards her as if to like give her a comforting hug, and she backs away from him. She immediately just steps back, and then Jenny's like, it's not his fault, and she takes a moment before saying she knows, as if like, yes, she does know it's not his fault, but there's still part of her which does blame him for this.
Yeah.
And I always find stuff like that really interesting, especially because Amy, you know, we've said it before, she puts this man on a pedestal to such a huge fucking effect. She worships the Doctor. So it's always really interesting and fascinating to me to see whenever that faith is tested, and to see her kind of pull back a little bit from that. I just that moment where she just steps away from him and kind of just looks a little horrified but doesn't necessarily say anything is quite interesting.
This is kind of what I was talking about with the performance, and another Amy moment specifically in a minute, but like Karen Gillan's performance here is so like, it's so understated and so filled with rage bubbling underneath. You know, we're used to seeing Amy be quite, you know, like, she doesn't really mince words. She doesn't really hide what she's feeling at all a lot of the time, but she's very like upfront about stuff. But I love that this is simmering away. She can't quite comprehend it, and she also just doesn't want to meet his eye, because I think there, like you say, Nathan, putting him on a pedestal, there's a part of her that doesn't know if she'll punch him or break down completely. And I think she conveys so much in that scene. She's phenomenal.
I think Karen Gillan is amazing. And I do agree she does convey all this, but I just think it needed more. Like, Amy's reaction to everything that's happened is like really, really like minute, and so not the focus of any of the story.
Yeah.
That it just feels kind of like hollow to me. Particularly at the end of the episode, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I just want more.
Yeah. No, I get it. I really do, because the fact that Amy's child has been stolen from her, that should be a hugely fucking traumatic moment for her, and it's
not even just her child. Like, and maybe this is maybe one of my bigger issues with the episode, and it's like the decision to make Amy pregnant is she. And it's like, it's a really common trope in sci-fi. Like every show pretty much does it, like a mystical, magical pregnancy. And Amy, in no point in this whole thing, consented to this pregnancy. You know, the choice was quite literally taken from her. Her body was like used against her will. Her baby was then stolen, and we never really adequately see any kind of emotional response to it. And it's like always the case in these kind of storylines. The purpose of these storylines is to have like either a super baby or like a devil baby. Like, it's one of the two normally, and they're either going to save or kill the world. And the mother is always like the second thought. So by giving Amy like no weight in this storyline, and like giving her nothing, we're kind of reinforcing this idea. And obviously Stephen Moffat didn't mean this. It was like, I think it's genuinely just a blindside in his writing, but like to me it just kind of reinforces this idea that like the most important bit in pregnancy is not the mother, it's like the baby or the fetus or whatever. So if you take that thinking to the extreme, it just like, oh, it's the kind of thinking that like allows people to pass bad laws, and like that's kind of what I really like. And they don't really do a lot with it going forward. I think it's not even just the fault of this episode. Like, the show that did like Vincent and the Doctor that linked depression to aliens could do something really good with Amy responding to it, but they kind of just don't care to.
It is unfortunately quite brushed over and not really mentioned all that much going forward, which is a shame. There is something, I don't know if I'd use the word interesting, but there is something that happens in next week's episode where they, like, without getting too much into it, they kind of like say, oh, but it's okay because Amy still got to raise her child.
I know.
In a way.
Crazy.
Yeah, but it's like, but it's not the same at all, though, you know?
And it also doesn't account for any kind of like trauma or like loss of body autonomy. Like it is it's really sad for Rory too. Like when I watched it, I realized, oh, he's never actually held his child because the baby he held was a fake. So that's really sad, but it is different for Amy.
Yeah. Massively.
I'd never, like, I knew there is something lacking in kind of the writing when it comes to Amy and kind of her reaction to all of this, but I'd never really considered it in that sense of like almost in bringing a trope of like a like you say, a super baby, like in bringing that on front. Unfortunately, the woman gets treated as a vessel more than anything else, and just like, obviously you're the narrative piece to deliver this plot element that we want to bring about into the show. Yeah, I'd never looked at it that way. That's really interesting. But yeah, I think it is an unfortunate byproduct of that then.
Yeah.
But, you know, like you say, I'm sure he didn't mean it. Yeah.
He did. I quite like Stephen Moffat. Like, he seems like a nice guy. And as I said before, I think he had a few blinders in his writing that he learned from, and you only have to look at like Clara on her first season compared to Clara in her last season to see kind of the difference between the two. But I do think shows that maybe, you know, loads of women feel differently. I don't speak for all of them, but for me, it would maybe say maybe there wasn't a woman that glanced over this script who maybe gave some kind of thoughts at any point.
There probably wasn't.
Probably not.
Didn't he write coupling with his wife though? Was it coupling?
Yes, coupling is like based on his
his relationship.
Yeah, and his deep love of lesbians. There's a lot of jokes about that.
Oh wow!
I'm very lost, but I don't want to be. I want to be let in on this.
It's like a TV show he wrote with his wife, of kind of like the main character's called Stephen, I think, kind of like about his relationships. And in it, the character based on him really loves lesbians and makes like lots of jokes.
Like the idea of it,
just that they're like,
or the insidious part of it,
kind of like a, you know,
the fetishization.
Yeah.
Yucky.
Yeah. You know how lesbian porn is made for straight men. Yeah.
Yuck.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes me look at some stuff in this a little bit differently, but there we go.
Look, he learns. I really do.
He does learn. He grows.
Yeah.
He does. I do think he grows. So where are we here? So Lorna dies. The doctor like speaks to her just as she passes. The Lorna says to the doctor, "Oh, you won't remember me, but I met you when I was younger." And then the doctor tells her, "No, I remember. I did. We ran, didn't we? We ran." And then like she passes like with a smile on her face. And then after she's gone, he says, "Who was she?" And that just breaks my heart that moment, because he had no idea who she was, but he just chose to be kind in that moment and just pretend. And it's so sweet and so heartbreaking at the same time.
What kind of a person's going to be like, yeah, I'll be honest. Fuck knows who you are,
mate. Sorry,
I
can't place you.
This is real bad timing, but like, I'm really old.
I've had a busy day.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe I've not even actually met you yet. Like, I have a confusing life.
It's true. It could be that way. Yeah, for all he knows. But just a very sweet moment, I think.
Yeah, I like that it kind of does two things for the Doctor, in the sense that, one, it shows him his first priority, first and foremost, is being kind, but it also shows him that, like, it reinforces that idea of, like, you know, he's traveled far and wide and people have opinions of him that he may not be aware of, and it kind of does reinforce that, like, everywhere he goes, people, you know, there's a possibility that people suffer for it, or he changes their life in ways that he literally has no recollection of. It adds to its legend, but also you get to see it from a more personal standpoint of him just being a nice guy with someone in their very sad final moments. But yeah, great scene, brilliant scene.
And the way, he's like, who was she? And Vacheras be like, we don't know. We just know she was brave. Like, it's so sad for her. She's like dying with people that don't know her at all. And all they know about her is she was brave.
Yeah.
And then he says something like, they're always brave, or something like that. So sweet. Yeah. Anyway, Lawrence, get ready to bark. Because who should show up but sexy River Song is back. So
I love
River...
that this is twisted into Lawrence barking. Like, you've not barked at Mirror
you've been barking.
many a sass.
I feel like he's been barking more than me. Okay.
There is that you love that. Like, I don't know if you clipped it out or if it was part of a TikTok, but there is a point where I just say something about River and have no point, and then I just go, but she's sexy.
Yeah. That one does make me laugh.
I get the brunt of it for that.
No, it's because you're just mentioning something we literally just talked about, and then I said to you, "We just did this, Lawrence," and you went, "Nah, she's sexy," just like that. Which makes me laugh.
She is. I won't apologize for it.
That's fine. No one's asking you to. That's fine.
I do like that when she comes in. She feels, I don't know, they write her in this really interesting way, only for a little bit of this scene, but and obviously because she's the person with the most information in the room, but it's almost like an oracle shows up and like turns to Amy and Rory and is like, it will be fine. You're going to be fine. You'll get past this. And then, I don't know, I don't know, it's a fucking phenomenal scene. I love the way she shows up in her entrance and how it's like, it's matched so interestingly with the Doctor's just almost pure rage over the guilt that he's feeling, and she wasn't there to help, and he's always
the Doctor is pissed at first. He is not happy to see her, which like he should be because he loves her or whatever. Yeah. But like he wanted her there from the start. He's like, where the hell have you been and all this kind of stuff. He's just mad that she wasn't there when he came to ask.
Do you think? Sorry, just timey-wimey wise. Is this the same like point we saw River earlier in the episode?
No,
or she'd already done Demon's Run at that point.
I think the River we saw in the beginning of the episode is older than this River. I think this is in her past. Yeah, she had done this already. Because I think she looked in her diary at that the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, she looked it up and went, oh, Demon's Run, oh fuck, yeah.
Yeah. So
I had that thought too. I was definitely switched on for that.
Sure you was, mate. I'm sure. She talks more about this idea of the Doctor, like, being this wonderful man who goes around helping people and stuff, but what happens if he carries on down the path he is? The man who can turn an army around at the mention of his name. Very specifically, that was something she said to the 10th Doctor in the library episode as well. Yes, so she says, Doctor, the word for healer and wise man is slowly turning into something else. She mentions how, the people of the Gamma Forest, the word for doctor means warrior and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So again, touching on that.
Just interesting. It's such a cool concept. Like I do love the, like, I think, I don't know if Russell ever, like, he never obviously got this close with it, but I like that the legend of it is played so much more up in this era. I like that it really has, I think you said this when we were first talking about season 5, Nathan, but like there's this element of like the Doctor does have a wider effect. A lot of RTD's episodes are very kind of isolated and in a vacuum, and the stakes stop mattering after, unless it's integral to like the overarching arc. But I think that Moffat really, really ties into this legend here, and like just really interesting ideas of like, the word would change its meaning if everyone started to associate the word doctor with like this harbinger of death almost. Like it's a great concept and really, really well kind of fleshed out. And I like that River tells it to him, and she's not like, I'm not apologizing for not being here. You've been a fucking idiot. And if you keep being a fucking idiot, this will keep happening. Great stuff.
Conversation kind of like abruptly turns after that though. Like it goes from that to being like, who are you? And then she's like, oh, what if we run around this cot for a little bit? Chase me, And then they have the moment where the Doctor finds out who she is, and he's quite immediately amused by that. Probably a bit too much, but sure. He's like saying, "You and I, we do," saying kisses. And then he looks back at Amy and Rory and laughs and all this stuff.
He laughs
and then
at
he
them.
just fucks. He laughs at them.
I don't like this tonal shift. I'll
Me
be
neither.
honest. I think it's bad.
And then he just fucks off.
I hate.
And then he just like, see you later. I'm off. All right.
I hate that he leaves, and I know it's to give River the dramatic reveal. And oh, my boy, is she good at doing it? Is she good at like dropping that
Yeah.
info? But I don't know. It just feels crazy that the Doctor would abandon his best friends without explaining what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It seems cruel. Like it just isn't mean.
I will say my initial weirdo before I changed it was the Doctor, and I'll say for putting his best friends through the most traumatic shit possible and then not even giving them a lift home. You know, just like see ya. You know, like I know River's there. I know she's got a vortex manipulator and everything, but like still, like. That is insane to me.
Yeah, you can't really just send Amy and Rory home after this, can you? Like, crack on with your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get there when I get there. I think the tonal shift in this, I understand it's because you're supposed to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, this is such a horrific series of events for Amy and Rory specifically, but like, this is supposed to, before the reveal, you're supposed to see the Doctor go from all is lost to, oh shit, we're so back kind of thing. I understand the intention. It feels horrendously like placed, if that makes, because the Doctor goes from like your baby's dead to oh kissy ooh like, and
the
then,
baby's
like,
not dead.
No, but
Goo.
you know, Amy experienced the death of her child in her arms. Like,
Yes.
it's a fucked scenario, and I just I don't know. I understand the intention. I don't think it was very well handled, the tonal shift.
Especially in the same episode where like Rory and Amy were reunited, having a tender moment, and we're like, come and join us, you're our family, we're in this together. So they're in this together, and it's once again like the Doctor knew Amy was pregnant for the whole season and didn't really tell anyone, just kept that to himself, and they kind of wave it away. He's kind of just doing this again here, like not explaining what's going on.
I don't know if he knew she was pregnant for the whole season. He was like,
He had an idea.
He had an idea, but he was still trying to like work it out because he couldn't get the accurate reading from the TARDIS, and then he like had the idea about the flesh and stuff. So
Buy a clear blue, like just
just buy a pregnancy test, mate.
Yeah, there's easier ways of finding out, sure. You know? I do like that, like that kind of thing is called out, because you know, when the Doctor leaves, obviously the tone leaves with him, the glee leaves with him, and I like that we get back to a bit more serious stuff, and Amy's like, fucking answers, like, and fucking now as well, like
she pulls a gun on River.
Incredible, yeah, like. I don't know. It's I don't. It feels reductive to just say it's maternal rage, because it is a part of that, but it's also it's Amy, I think, in a way, sort of reclaiming some agency, because the plot is happening around her, and she pulls a gun and goes, "Fuck this! What the fuck is happening right now? I don't want any poetry. I don't want bullshit. I want answers." And I think that's a great moment for her.
I think that's a kind way of looking at it.
Do you? Okay, all right, do tell. I want your takes.
No, I just think that's not necessarily what was thought of, really, because even then, that's not what happens. She is still quite cryptic after that moment. She is still like, you know, oh look, I am showing you. Here we go, and all this kind of stuff. And I do like the look of the TARDIS translation working and seeing that in real time and stuff. That's all quite beautiful and stuff. But it's still not a straight answer. It's still a little bit cryptic and a little bit for the sake of the reveal rather than for the sake of Amy. And of course, it's a TV show, and that's what we want.
Yeah. What do you think, Catherine?
I mean, I like Amy pulling the gun because it feels like, in keeping with her character, it feels like it feels primal and desperate. I like what you said about like it's her, you know, making it stand and like trying, because it can be, it's not just you can be from the writing perspective or the character perspective. Is like Amy also has had her agency taken away, so from her perspective maybe it is her trying to get it back. I don't think that was like what the writer was thinking.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. I'm wrong. No,
there's no right or wrong. It's just that your interpretation is misogynistic. So I think
No. It's
Fuck,
hopeful.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm an optimist, Nathan. I want to see the best in people.
As you should be. Okay. So River is Melody. River is Rory and Amy's daughter. This is the big grand reveal. I think it is done in a nice way. Like I say, I do like the TARDIS translation on the little embroidery patch and that kind of stuff. And Melody Pond into River Song. That makes sense, sure. Yeah, I like it. How are we feeling about the reveal?
When I first saw this, it was like jaw drop. I was screaming. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. How long do you think it had been planned? Since Amy had been introduced? Or
I don't know. I go back and forth because people are saying that like Alex Kingston had notes in her diary like from the beginning about all this kind of stuff, but I don't think the character of Amy was even conceived at that point. No. So
definitely, I don't think it can be from like when she arrived in the RTD era. It can't be.
No, I don't think so. No. And I don't necessarily think it was fully mapped out in Series 5 either. I think once Steven started writing Series 6, I think maybe he would have had a rough idea during the writing of Season 5. But when he was mapping out Series 6, Season 6, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I think that's when he like really came up with it, really.
I also feel like it was a mystery in who River was in terms of like we didn't know her, but she clearly had a history with the Doctor. I don't think it necessarily had to be a big reveal that she was someone. She could have, been River. So that's why I'm kind of like I don't know if it was planned the whole time.
But everyone has to be someone these days.
I know,
Catherine. That's it. They always have to be someone you saw before, or someone you know, or related to someone you know. That's it. I don't know exactly when all that came about, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know when the idea was formed. I do very much like the fact that the seed was planted in an era that feels so distant and far removed from this era. Like it does help that kind of leap of this is the same Doctor, the same person.
It is wild to look back and think there was a Pond in the RTD era.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like, yeah,
Melody Pond, Amy Pond's daughter was having an adventure with David Tennant, which just feels. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
It is crazy to think about. As for like the actual reveal of itself, like the moment itself, I think it's done well. I think it is funny to think that the TARDIS, like people can be speaking an alien language in real time, and the TARDIS is like no problem. But then a written word is like, give me a minute, hang on. It feels like that should be the opposite, but I understand why it isn't. But yeah, I like it. The line's always stuck with me. You know, the they don't have a word for like I can't remember. The line's always stuck with me. I can't remember it, but like that. What did she say?
The only river in the forest is the pond, or the other way. I can't remember.
The only water in the forest is the river.
Yeah. I think that's a nice. I think it's a clever poetic way of being like it was there, but you never would have got it. Like as a good TV mystery is, like you don't get it until it's said, but it was there. It wasn't just like, oh, it's a random name, lol, and I'm this person. Like they did kind of weave it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, that's it. The Doctor will return in Let's Kill Hitler.
What a title.
What a title.
Really undercuts the seriousness of the situation.
And let's hope he does, for all our sakes. Anyway, one of these. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, no.
Weirdo of the Week! Weirdo.
This is everyone's favourite section of the show where we get to take a chance to look back on some of the weird and wonderful and grubby little characters who come across our screens each and every week. Lawrence, let's start with you. Who the fuck is your weirdo for this week?
My weirdo, as alluded to earlier, is Dorian. Mostly because I think his death is very much the dumbest possible thing that this supposed clever businessman could do in this scenario. He wanders in like, these guys are chill. They love me. He like literally arms out, ready to embrace them. And he's like, and they're like, well, you did just sell them down the river, like, and betray them and fight against them. And he's like, nah, it's fine. They're my boys. And I'm like, I find it very funny that someone has perceived the headless monk as like these chill guys that take nothing seriously when they've quite literally chopped their heads off for the cause.
Yeah,
I know.
funny.
I found that very funny. He dies like an idiot.
That's fair. Yeah. It is very much one of those like deaths. Like, oh, you know how this is going. Like the second it starts to play out, like you know this guy's about to get his head chopped off immediately.
So he starts to walk into the shadows. Yeah, bye, Dorian.
Yeah. See you later. It was nice knowing you, I guess.
Does his body like walks out a little bit as well after?
Yeah, his body stumbles out and then just falls.
Stupid show. We'll go Nathan's because Catherine has managed to keep hers secret up until this point.
Ooh, a grand reveal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it good, Catherine.
Oh, no.
Yes. So my weirdo, I'm going with Madame Vastra for saying. What? Oh, I know, it's a joke. For the line, yes, Demon's Run was taken without spilling a single drop of blood, which is just a flat-out lie, because, yes, that soldier kills a monk, and then another monk kills that soldier, and then I'm pretty sure, although it's not confirmed, but more soldiers and monks would have died at that point as well, because the fight went on for a while, so...
Energy balls, though, so was there a drop of blood?
Yeah, come on! But the monk was shot with a gun.
Yeah, but their body's all twisted up, and maybe there's got no blood pumping around in there. We don't know what's
Well,
happening.
you don't know that for sure. All right? You're
Not
reaching
you.
once again. Stop trying to fucking discount my weirdos, okay? I do that to you, okay? Anyway, Catherine, please.
So my weirdo of the week is the Doctor and Rory for
Ooh.
asking permission to hug Amy and then telling the Doctor he has hugged her long enough because you could go fuck yourself.
God, I'm with you. No, I'm with you.
They do it
hated
several
that.
times and I hate it every time.
Yeah, it happens quite a lot. It's, yeah. Just Amy doesn't get a say at all. It's just, I'll ask her husband for permission to hug her. Outrageous.
Stinky behaviour from Amy's boys.
Yeah. And the whole, keep in mind I have a sword as well.
Stab him then. Go on.
He lost several of his cool points that he had earlier in that one
he
moment.
did. Yeah. No, that's fair. I think it's not a competition, but I think you win Weirdo of the Week for this week. There you go.
Dorian comes in second, obviously, but that's fine.
No, you always lose, Lawrence. That's the rule. You always lose. Anyway, on to the next thing, Lawrence.
Indeed. It is the time of the show where the audience get to have their say. What happens is Nathan will tweet out a post, let everyone know what episode we are recording and when, and then our lovely loyal listeners get to send in their thoughts, and we can read out some of them. Starting with emails? Question mark?
Yes. We'll start with emails. This first one is from Christina. Subject line IDK, which I think is street for I don't know. If my tweet for this episode will get read out, but I apologize anyway. They say, hello, Catherine, brackets, and the other two.
Yeah.
So there we go. Bit of fun. So glad we're finally at the point. So glad we're finally at this point. This was the exact episode I got up to on my Doctor Who rewatch a few years ago before I stopped due to mental health reasons. Ironically, COVID lockdown had to be streaming less old TV somehow. As a result, I haven't been watching along with the podcast as I already had somewhat a decent memory from each episode. I have noticed my RTD memories are stronger though. From this episode onwards, I'm going to aim to rewatch one episode a week with you, so that should be fun. I've been watching Series 1 of Torchwood for the first time recently, and I'll be happy to have more fun Doctor Who stuff to keep me going after I finish Series 2. Looking forward to rewatching the rest of this weird and wonderful and grubby little show. Fun times ahead. P.S. Since it's an established part of STL lore that Lawrence knows my boss and could get me fired, would it be possible if he could speak to them about fixing the aircon in my office? I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Geronimo, Christina, Tina Tomlin, she, her. Thank you, Tina. Well, there you go, Lawrence. You got a little task ahead of you.
I have indeed. Fix the fucking aircon. Do you know how horrible it is when you are sweating in an office? If you have to wear office attire in heat, like I don't wear suits and like I hate the feeling of like being in trousers and a shirt. Right, it's horrible. Right, but if I'm in an office space and it is sweating, you're already dressed uncomfortably and you're in an office at work. So there's two things that suck. The very least that people could do is provide a nice air system. And I don't mean open windows because there are humid days where there's no breeze. It's not the same. Aircon all the way. Fucking fix it, you piece of shit. Boss.
Okay, wow. I got quiet.
Well, good.
The passion came instantly to you. For a man who hasn't worked in an office in a while, a hot minute.
And for a good reason, Catherine. It was too hot.
And mostly ever, okay? You worked in an office for like a month as well.
Like 2 years, but fine.
It wasn't 2 years.
Okay, it's my life and it was, but yes.
I know your life more than you, okay? It wasn't.
Play that
and
for
also,
your boss.
we are two men who work from home, so we don't have to deal with this issue, really. So, Christina, send us your boss's email, and then Lawrence will pen a reply to them.
I will.
So there you go.
Bitch.
Okay, you might get fired in the process, but
yeah, I can't promise you'll have a job, but at the very least, then at least that problem will be fixed. You won't be hot in the office anymore.
There you go. This next email comes from Michael Deacon, who says, "A good man goes to war." From Michael. That was because there was lots of exclamation points, which is why I emphasized it like that.
Didn't quite give it that gusto in the delivery, but yeah.
Lawrence, shut up. Dear esteemed Mr. Nathan Finn McMissile Bauer and Lawrence Holly Shiftwell Heisey. Okay. Catherine, I'm so sorry you're not mentioned. Yeah. First time emailer here. I've been listening to Still Got Legs for the last few months and absolutely love your takes and deep dives into Doctor Who. Now I'm up to date. I'm listening to another happy pod, which I'm loving too. He must be sick of us, fucking hell. Like Lawrence, I am an RTD and 10 stan.
Nice.
I've watched the show ever since, but really struggled to enjoy the following seasons until, of course, 60th specials and Series 14, as I was so heartbroken David Tennant left the show, and I was bitter and twisted about the whole thing. Now it's been over a decade, and Tennant has returned several times. I think I can get past it. I've been rewatching Series 5 and 6 and listening to Still Got Legs alongside, and honestly, I found a whole new love for it. I think it helps that I've loved Matt Smith in other stuff, so I can enjoy his performance in a new way. Series 5 is bloody brilliant. My only criticism is I think the sexy Silurian two-parter could have been one episode. Wrong.
We'll take every moment we can get with them Silurians, all right?
We are barking for sexier Leia, okay? I'm also loving Series 6, and these are some brilliant stories, Black Spot not included, in brackets. A Good Man Goes to War is an absolute classic, and I didn't realise how much I loved Big Blue Man. The River Song reveal is such a brilliant TV moment. Bit of Series 6 trivia I picked up on. I loved Nathan's impression of the cooked orphanage owner in episode 1 and 2. You mentioned his name is Dr. Renfrew. Did we mention that? Oh, I guess we did. Renfrew. This hit my ear as it might be a reference to Renfrewshire, which is the county in Scotland that Paisley is in, where Moffat is from. That makes sense. Keep up your brilliant work. And I look forward to reevaluating part 2 of season 6 and onward with your hilarious and insightful intakes. All the best, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Although, mention Catherine next
No,
time.
don't
She's
be
sweet too. No, I'm joking.
I like the effect we've had with these cars references. They haven't gone unnoticed or skipped.
Yes, thank you. I was Finn McMissile. So that's cool.
Yeah, that did eat me a little bit inside, but that's fine.
And this last email here comes from James Perez, who says, still got thoughts? Boy, do I. Here we go. Hello, Nathan and Lawrence, spelled A-W, and Catherine. Hey. First of all, thank you for this podcast. It fed my monstrous hyperfixation on Doctor Who that came out of nowhere 7-ish months ago around Christmas. I'm afraid I've become a weirdo who can't think about anything other than Doctor Who, brackets, please send help. As such, I have opinions, TM. on everything related to this silly show, and it's been a challenge for me not to email every episode and yap for ages. Unfortunately, this is the episode where Moffat loses me, at least for a bit. I originally came at this from a feminist perspective, but I feel like better people than I have thoroughly explored that side of it, so I'm going to focus more on something I'm an expert on, which is the Doctor's relationship to his companions. Shout out to Gabby Gonzalez of Doctor Who comic book fame, my favourite companion. I will find a way to work you into every conversation, even if it gets on people's nerves. IYKYK. I believe that is Street Fighter. If you know, you know.
I'm actually glad I didn't know that one.
Yeah, you see, I help. I feel like this entire series strips Amy and other female characters of agency over their bodies, and we're not supposed to question it. In the past, when the Doctor does similar things to Harriet or Donna, we see them push back. Donna begs Ten not to wipe her mind. Harriet dies by her own decisions. You don't have to agree with the Doctor or Harriet, but they both have equal agency by the end of Series 4. Compare this to that cum dude saying, yeah, go fuck my wife. Does the wife get a say in this? Who cares if it's sparing her grief? You don't get to make that decision for her unless you don't see her as a full person. I understand that she's not a character, but there are ways to have even a non-character have agency. There's a reason that the episode does this for a character who was dead before the episode started. The Doctor doesn't let Amy in on anything, not about Rory disappearing, or Amy's pregnancy, or is twice, or a few other things I won't spoil. Yes, he had his reasons, like how Ten had his reasons before him. My problem is that the narrative refuses to let Amy be angry at the Doctor in any way that matters, or push back against him making decision for her. She yells at River, which is definitely cathartic and a strong moment for her, but spoilers, she will never be angry at the Doctor for leaving to look for her baby without her, or not telling her anything. Even going back to the infamous 11 Amy kiss, as Catherine pointed out in the Not Vampire episode, it's the two men, brackets gay, who have it out over this indiscretion. Amy isn't even in the conversation. This is a trend that will continue for the rest of her time on the show and even beyond it. It honestly turned me off the show, though Moffat does improve on this. I say Moffat to say that this is a Moffat-era problem. Not the sole reason that this is happening. I understand the show has multiple voices behind it. As a viewer, I heavily buy into the fantasy of the companion. I am Rose, Martha, Donna, and Amy. A necessary part of that fantasy is the agency companions in New Who have. I can't speak for Classic Who yet. Rose defies the Doctor constantly, even as he makes decisions for her. Amy used to do this too in Series 5. This is necessary to keep the balance of power between a god of time and a 19-year-old, which in turn keeps the viewer feeling active in the story. She doesn't have to be an action hero, but she does have to make important choices on a semi-regular basis. The viewer is Amy Pond, pressing the button on Starship UK to save the space whale, even though the Doctor says no. It's harder to sell the viewer on you are Amy who has to wait for the men in your life to rescue you after your body has been used and discarded for months before you lose your baby and the Doctor leaves to find her without you. The fantasy of the companion is built on agency. You can artfully avert that fantasy or even demolish it, and Moffat does do that in the future, but this isn't that. It's writing without a care for it at all. Apologies if this is a rant, but I must speak my truth as someone plagued with opinions on Doctor Who. I worry that this could come off as me being a Moffat hater, but I'm not. He wrote some of my favourite episodes of this show, my favourite season and my favourite Doctor, tied with 9. It's my love for this show in this era that makes me so passionate about, well, everything. Once again, thanks for the pod. Genuinely one of my favourites I look forward to every week. Love from a random swamp in Florida. James, he, him, or she, her. There we go.
Never apologise.
That was
us.
a lot to take in. That was a lot to go over there. So yeah, thoughts on that, Lawrence or Catherine or anyone else? But it is just you two here.
Don't be sorry to us for having opinions on Doctor Who. We're familiar with that game. A lot to touch on. I feel like we mentioned some of those points. I think the like the go fuck my wife thing from last week. I do feel like there's that there should be like an implied conversation that happens about like the wife's agency in that scenario. Like, I feel like if that Scottish bloke is a good enough bloke, he'd probably get home and actually. I know we touched on this a little bit last week, but like I think he should get home and maybe have a conversation. You know, maybe like put the kid to bed and be like, crazy story. Yeah, this happened. Where do you sit with this? But I don't know, the stuff after it, I feel like we touched on some of that in the episode, and I didn't. This isn't stuff that I picked up on. Like I some of it, but not all of it. But yeah, interesting points. I don't know. What do we think?
That was so articulate.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I agree with lots of points. I agree completely that Stephen Moffat and Russell T Davies write companions differently, and I do think Moffat has his biases. I think some of it comes down to writing style. RTD was big on his way in was the companions, and they were the center of the story. Moffat comes at it from the fairy tales, and the Doctor is more the center, and that's why we see things from the Doctor's point of view more, and we see like him keeping things from his companions and stuff. So some of it I do chalk up to a different writing style. I agree that I think the companions are the most important thing, and I do think when you think about a show that's been on 60 years, and for like 55 of them, it's been a man and an older man and a younger woman, and she, particularly in Classic Who, wears a short skirt and just asks lots of questions, and that's her role in the show. You need to kind of keep that in mind when you're writing it, and that's where I think Moffat kind of falls down. Again, I think he gets better, and I know I was like taking digs at him about like how he writes like particularly female characters and lesbians, but like then he introduces like the first lesbian companion, and I think she's written really well. I think Clara has interesting and an engaging arc. I just think he has some biases that he really wasn't aware of. I was sensitive to it at a time. Like I stopped watching for a long time after the Kill the Moon episode. That I was like, I cannot with this anymore. Now I'm a bit more like, I think he just has some flaws that were quite apparent in his writing at times.
Kill the Moon is interesting. The ending of Kill the Moon is very interesting.
Is that the one where the moon's an egg?
It is the one where the moon's an egg. Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to that because there is a lot of people just remember it as the moon is an egg, but there is so much to discuss in that episode.
That's all I remember it. I remember it. I'm pretty sure it's Capaldi's first episode, right?
No.
So this is what I mean. I don't know.
It's quite far into a season.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like one of the episodes I watched of him for the first time. I don't know. I just know it as the moon's an egg.
Yeah. Return of the orange spacesuit as well.
Oh, very nice. Very good.
Multiple orange spacesuits as well. Interesting. Yeah.
Nice. I like articulate thoughts like that. Like, it challenges my perspective on a lot of stuff. I hadn't considered a lot of that stuff.
There you go. Tweets, Lawrence.
I will renounce my my seat on the podcast.
I also think, like, just for this person being like, I've thought too much about it. It's like the point of sci-fi is like fundamentally to show us stuff about our worlds today, and that's why I like thinking about what does this mean? What are they trying to tell us? And sometimes it's done fun, and sometimes it's a bit more serious.
Yeah, definitely.
Tweets. This one comes in from Joshua Broadhurst. I've got 4, by the way, so one's a speedy one.
So we're already at 217.
I know,
Lawrence.
but we had a lot of people write in, and there was a lot of good stuff. Anyway, you really, just from Joshua Broadhurst, you really understand the rage of the Time Lord in this episode. Matt does it amazingly. He's the best at it, even if he is a weirdo of the week, because his reaction after finding out his best friend has been kidnapped, his first instinct is to make her husband play dress up.
Okay,
we did breeze over that. It was the Doctor's idea to have him dress up as the Centurion.
I like it. Makes sense to me.
I like it too. It's like his little suit of armor. I think it's fun. Get this one. The username is like Yarg. I don't know if that's a pirate thing or whatever, but the @ is SofaBoy51 on Twitter. This one made me laugh. Ate some bad chicken and was throwing up all night listening to you boys absolutely flame Adam Mitchell. Cheers, boys. A good man goes to war is pretty good too.
Never let the Adam hate die.
I saw it and I was like, there's no way I'm pushing past that. Third one comes in from Shugs Tina. Melody was replaced by a ganger. Come again? Followed with, I'll see myself out.
I
Very
think that
good.
was Christina whose email I read.
Oh, there you go then. Yeah.
There you go. Double duty. Well done, Tina. You did it.
Nice. And the last one comes from Damn the Lamb. My outright favourite episode of 11's. The build-up, introduction of everyone's favourite lizard lesbian, the Doctor failing due to hubris, River's monologue over the battle, and of course that reveal. Floored me when I was 11, and yes, I am 100% giving into nostalgia, but I don't care. Also, Rory being the badass he deserves to be. I really hope you three enjoy it, or I'll be crying whilst listening, and that is a threat.
It's a little late now. Done it.
Yeah, but still, it's... maybe we would have re-recorded it if we all had stronger opinions. Yes.
I think we liked it for the most part.
Yeah, it's not without its hang-ups and flaws, but it's good.
Do you want to
Yeah.
rule Nathan on is it a banger or not?
I was just thinking about this. I think, okay, I will rule it a banger, not a certified banger. Okay. There's just a few too many little, what was that?
Yeah.
Moments, you know? Just a few too many little head-turny, catcheria wrong moments for me.
Which is a shame, because this is like
Yeah.
top-tier Doctor Who outside
Really?
of those isolated bits. Yeah.
And it's true, yeah. Like you were saying, some like really great line drops, some really great writing from Stephen with like just these one-off off-the-cuff lines and stuff. But then there's just other stuff which does unfortunately bring it down. So a banger, but it is not certified by the council.
No mash required today.
The council is me, by the way.
I'm picturing you like Rassilon in season 4. You walk in, someone dares decree something not a banger, and you spit on them and vaporize them.
Spit on them.
Lovely.
That's it.
Nathan, feel free to put this up the top if you want. Oh no, don't. I'll mention it here because I put it on AHP as well. Catherine, I was on your podcast.
You were.
I was indeed. I joined Catherine for a lovely episode of Missing Mystic Falls. Do you want to tell people about it?
Yeah, it's a Vampire Diaries rewatch podcast. Go through like this every week and talk about Vampire Diaries. Lawrence and Nathan have both now been on. I've got the set.
Very nice.
And yeah,
And who will be asked back on first?
that's the next one.
That is. Yeah, we're waiting. Balls in your court. It was a great fun time. I had a really fun time. It was it's fun being on it, and Nathan will know this better than me. It's fun being on it and being very hazy on a lot of the details. But I was
very hazy on so many details.
We were both walked through, I think, in enough detail to get
Yes.
through it. But yeah.
I think they're good episodes. Ellie, very different than this podcast. Ellie was like, "Oh, Lawrence is very funny." So really,
Hey! Thank you very, very much for listening.
I also listened to the podcast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was good. Although you did call me a liar, which I don't appreciate.
But you did lie. You know, I
didn't lie.
I corrected
I told the
this.
truth.
I corrected
No.
this. I don't. I have flavour on my chicken. Right? If you want the context for that, Missing Mystic Falls, you can follow them on Twitter at Miss Mystic Pod. Is that right? I think that's right.
Yeah.
Nice, cool. We had this. You'll hear on Friday, tomorrow when AHP comes out. We had this very debate. I was very much hoping I got it right.
If you listen to them all, you can piece together all the arguments had past 2 weeks about Lawrence's Nando order.
You can, yeah. Thank you very, very much for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, please feel free to leave us a little 5-star review. That'd be very cool. You can follow us on Twitter at StillGotLegsPod. You can also email your thoughts on over to stillgotlegspodcast@gmail.com. And we have a Discord server. You can join that. The link is in the show notes. And a massive thank you and shout out to Nina for managing our short form content and also including the TikToks and the Reels and stuff. And Pierce, cool guy, basically being the word of God in the Discord server. So thank you for that. If you feel so inclined, we have a Ko-Fi link in the show notes if you want to help us out with the running of both the shows. Again, zero pressure, always for free, always for anyone who wants to listen to them. And speaking of shows, Nathan, we have another podcast, don't we?
Well, we certainly bloody do, Lawrence. It's called Another Happy Pod. It's our pop culture podcast where every week we watch and discuss. I'm just going to say an episode of Doctor Who. We watch something in the realm of pop culture, be it a movie, a TV show, a video game. It's usually a movie because that's easier. But right now, we decide, wouldn't it be fun to watch 10 fucking episodes of TV a week?
And
so
yes, it is fun.
Well, I wouldn't say it's fun. It's a chore to get through, and there's a reason why every Wednesday I have to binge watch like 7 episodes in a row. But it's we're watching Succession, and begrudgingly I am having fun.
Catherine is on 2 of those episodes, and yeah, you can hear that. I don't know if you go and listen to it, whatever. Thank you for listening. We will see you next. Hang on. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Stay cool, stay beautiful.
Bye.